In a time of universal deceit, telling the truth is a revolutionary act. George Orwell. Yeah. This is Blood Politics. The only podcast where we don't talk about politics. We be about politics. And our mission statement is to empower, educate, and encourage everyone to speak out against fascism. Speak out against injustice and fight for freedom and equality for everyone. This is Blood Politics, and we ain't stopping till they put us in the grave. We ain't gonna be quiet, and we ain't gonna be scared, and we ain't gonna go along with the crowd. This is Blood Politics.
All right, what's going on, guys? Welcome to the stream. How's everybody doing? Filter in, one and all. Appreciate you joining me. I'm Boston Brian. This is the Blunt Politics Podcast, live stream, whatever you want to call it. It is what it is. Thank you to everybody watching on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Instagram. Appreciate you guys. Make sure you hit that respective like buttons, thumbs up, thumbs down. Even if you don't like it, it's engagement. The YouTube will like it. You know what I mean? It's for the algorithm. Just do it. You know what I'm saying? What's going on, Chatsky? How are you guys doing? You guys have almost made it through another 24 hours in the craziest timeline that we've been in a long, long time. So I do want to congratulate you on that. I do commend you on your passion and aggression and perseverance fighting through what is just an ultimately ridiculous timeline right now. So what's going on, Jackie? How are you? What's up, Wes? What's going on, Rocks? What's going on, Yakov, Evie Zant? Appreciate you. What's up, sister to all? What's up, Gamer? What's up, Jim? Appreciate you guys. What's up, Willie? Smoking coin. Smoking coin. It doesn't sound healthy, but, you know, to each their own. You do you. I appreciate you for being here, my man. I appreciate you. What's up, Flipper? What's going on? How are you? LM Blossom. Good to see you. What's up, Laney? I see you down there. What's up, Greg? What's going on, guys? We have an absolute clip fest tonight. I don't know. It's one of those things where we could be here forever or we could just breeze through it all. I'm not quite sure yet. Make sure you hit that like button. That is one thing that I do know for damn sure would help the channel. There's also a bunch of different ways which you can contribute to the channel financially if you do find yourself in a position where you can do it and it doesn't take away from other aspects of your life, because that's not what I'm looking to do. If you're robbing Peter to pay Paul already, just hit the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. All free, doesn't cost you a dime, and you can still deal with your other problems. But if you are in the financial position to do so, there's a Venmo up in the corner. You can become a channel member for just under $3 for a month. I mean, for crying out loud, no better bang for your buck on the internet right there. Or there is other ways as well. You can go to patreon.com/BostonBrian. There's 3 great tiers on there. You can be one of the great members that always send in a super chat or a super sticker. You're one of the fantastic people that always contribute to the channel, like everybody here. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you. But, yeah, it's going to be an absolute clip fest tonight. But before we get to that, I do want to make it known. I kind of should wait till a little bit more people are in here. So maybe I'll wait a couple minutes until people can filter in. I know people are still watching other shows. I think everybody in the history of the world is live right now. So I don't know how many people inevitably we're going to get in here. But I'll see once the number gets to its peak. Whatever that is, I'll make an announcement. That way it gets the most bang for its buck. Why I'm using that twice in the first 10 minutes of the show, I don't know. All right, let's put this stuff on the screen because, like I said, we got a shitload to get through. I don't know how long it's going to take, but we're going to try our goddamn best. Now, this is something that just happened recently, or, you know, came across my eyes recently, I should say. People have been talking about it. Again, I don't know if I should do like a viewer discretion is advised. I'm not much for I'm not a squeamish guy. Like, blood doesn't scare me. You know, the sight of war, I'm pretty used to at this point, you know, at this point in time from, you know, the research, the documentaries, all that type of stuff. But this one kind of got me. I'm not going to lie. This one kind of got me. And it wasn't even so much the sound that you're going to hear, but like the lack of reaction from fucking RoboCop here. This is why you just don't fuck with Marines. This is period, point blank, why you don't fuck with Marines. Because you never know. You never know which one you're going to run into. Again, they're wide-ranging. I'm not saying they're all a monolith or anything like that, but you could run into something like this, and it's not going to be the best day for you. This is posted by Brian Krasenstein about 2 hours ago at this point. There's nothing like breaking a U.S. Marine's bones in order to prevent him from speaking out against a senseless, pathetic, stupid war. This man is a hero. The people getting us into needless war, which kills Americans who should be pushing back on. And again, this is, I believe, a senator engaging in removing of this former Marine, I want to say, if I'm getting that correctly, out of this room where, again, he came in to protest to say, I think he's yelling that nobody wants to fight for Israel, something along those lines. But again, we got a clip fest tonight. Hit that like button on the way in. Again, as a little bit more people filter in. Thank you to everybody on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, the whole 9 yards. I do appreciate you guys. We're still trying to figure out how to do it. I know a lot of people have been asking about Substack. I think, if we can get a good group of people that watch over there, it'll kind of make it worth it because it's a pain in the arse to do it. I'm not going to lie, especially every show if you got a bunch of shows during the week. But again, that's another matter. We can deal with that later. All right, let's just watch this real quick. Again, this is from a couple hours ago. Been all over the place so far on social media. And again, this is somebody trying to protest Donald Trump's needless, senseless, pathetic war. Again, that has taken the lives of 6 U.S. service members up until this point. And he gets taken out physically. And they actually, again, I'll let you watch. Check this out. I should hit play, though. That helps. You see here, right here. What's this guy's? It's Sheehy. Is this Senator Sheehy? Let me know if I'm getting that wrong in the chat, please. But this asshole here just popped in about as quick as you could possibly do. You know what? The uniform didn't say, you know what? I probably shouldn't have the optics out there of a fucking senator, physically, removing a U.S. Marine from anything, especially right now when we're at war. But just saying, the optics not so good. At that, maybe send one of your team. I'm just saying, if you're going to do anything and you're going to act like a moron in that situation, maybe don't do it yourself, but who am I? I'm not a PR guy. I don't want anybody to get any favors off of my back. But again, it goes on.
Out. No one wants to fight for Israel.
And again, he's saying nobody wants to fight for Israel. They're trying to get him out. His left hand, as you can see, is kind of locked behind the door. And well, you are.
His hand.
Oh, for Christ's sakes, it gets me every time. And again, it's not even the sound of his forearm quite literally breaking in half that gets me every time. It is the lack of fucking reaction from the guy. Not a squelch, not a squelch, not a fucking yelp, not an ouch, not a not a nothing. Just a fucking straight, just on with the mission. And it's scary. That shit is fucking scary. I'm not going to lie to you. Again, why you don't fuck with Marines right there. This is craziness.
Wants to fight for Israel.
His hand. Oh, his hand.
Sir. Let go of your hand. Let go of the door. Let go of the door.
The senator broke his hand. A sitting U.S. senator just broke the hand of a Marine.
Sir.
Control your Senate.
I'm stuck in the door. Okay, sir.
A U.S. senator just broke the hand of a Marine.
He's stuck.
He still doesn't even say, hey, my arm's broken. They actually put his hands behind his back. I don't hear him say anything else about, it's crazy. Like, it's nuts. Like, props to him and big, a lot of respect for him for doing this, and drawing attention to this matter. But again, Jesus Christ, this guy he must have, I don't even know, bones of steel, or I don't even understand at this point how you don't react to something like that.
Senator just broke the hand of a Marine. You're a coward.
And I do believe, isn't this what's his name, Aguilar? Is that not the Aguilar guy that had the reports coming back from Gaza? I do believe that's him, but he had a couple remarks for the senator on the way by, and then they just, they carry out the Marine there. But I think I had his name. His name was Brian. Give me his name in the chat, guys. I think I did have it somewhere. I think I may have X'd it out though by accident. But it did have something where his name was involved there. I do believe it's Brian something. Do you guys have it in the chat? Just so I can give him his props. Oh, what's up, Sparklers? What's going on, guys? Appreciate you. Oh, I very much appreciate you. Well, now is probably a good time since the Sparklers are here. We've only gone over this one clip anyway. But I do want to just bring up in the chat, when one of our own in the chat is in need, I like to be able to use the platform for good. That's kind of one of the reasons why I started this whole thing. So Marsha7107 in the chat has a surgery coming up. I believe it's 3/12. So in just a few days, she is in Batavia, Illinois, and she's looking for somebody. She doesn't have many people in the area. She's looking for somebody that may have the opportunity to, help her to and from, or, keep her company in that time. If there's a way for you to reach out, be happy to put my email in the chat. But shot in the dark in case there's somebody maybe in the area that can or has the time to or is able to. I figured would try to use the chat for good here. You know what I mean? I know we cover a lot of shitty things here, so whenever we can try to reach out and do some good in the chat, reach out and help. I like to think we could do that. So if anybody is around that area, either reach out to Marsha. Marsha, there you are. I see you, dear. There you are, my friend. How are you? So again, if there's any way we could help, please let us know. If anybody's in that area, has any ideas, anything like that, that would be fantastic. Please keep me updated. Again, I may not be able to keep the chat in view in case somebody does respond. So, if the fantastic mods we have could, maybe keep on top of that. Marsha, if you see anything in the chat that may be able to help, please don't hesitate to reach out. All right. Appreciate you. Thank you for everything that you do for us. And hopefully we get you some help there. Okay. Appreciate you. All right. Now, like I said, we got a ton to fucking cover here. There is just clip after clip after clip, video after video after video. I don't know if we're going to be here for 2 days, 2 hours, 2 minutes. I'm not sure. I'm not really sure, but hit that like button on the way in. We just were checking out. I'm sure you guys may or may not have seen everybody that's just coming back in. We don't have to play it again for everybody because it's a bit, it's been on the gruesy side. I'm not going to lie. But this was the Marine that was physically accosted and removed here by a senator. I believe it was Sheehy. I didn't see anybody correct me in the chat, so I'm going with Sheehy until I'm corrected. But yeah, this is him being basically removed, his arm broken after being caught in the door, and basically him just trying to bring light to this senseless, pathetic, and stupid war, as said here, posted by Brian Krasenstein. And again, he was he was definitely physically removed to the point where his arm got caught and basically just snapped in half. I'm not going to lie. That's probably the best description of it that I could come up with. But yeah, we don't have to play it again, but I just wanted to make sure that everybody is up to speed on the chaos that has ensued, the chaos that always takes place under a Trump regime, whether it be, riots, whether it be, the storm. There's so many things to list. Would be here for 2 days. And like I said, we got too many things to talk about. All right, let me throw this on the screen. Here because boy, does this kind of surprise me. I'm not going to lie, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Legal Eagle YouTube channel. We did play not that long ago. I believe it was after the Alex Preddy shooting. Forgive me if it was after the Renee Good shooting. But Legal Eagle came out with a very emotional video, not typical of something that he typically puts out. He's a lawyer, basically, giving his advice, his kind of expertise on different matters from the legal realm, obviously. But this is a video that they put out, I want to say 4, 5, 6 hours ago, something like that, 6 hours ago right now. Trump's insane plan to steal elections leaked. Okay. Now, Legal Eagle is not typically the channel that to do clickbait or propaganda or be sensationalist or things like that. So it really kind of caught my eye, especially after how long we've been speaking about these different little fucking plans and ploys Donald Trump has been initiating that look very much like a plan to steal or at least, inhibit or enact some change in the midterm election. Like we've been discussing that here. If you've been watching Blunt Politics, you've heard it come out of my mouth. I know for sure you have. So I just want to know if maybe we could dive into a couple minutes of this. It's a half hour long, so I'm not going to be able to do the whole thing, depending on how, again, interesting and how deep it goes. We may be able to dive into a little bit of it, but I will put the link in the chat for you guys. Why don't I do that right now? Copy, and I'll throw that right in the chat for you guys. That way, if anybody has the time or the inclination to watch the entire thing, that way you can be all the way up to speed as far as I am and everybody else is that has watched this video. But again, let's dive into at least the first couple minutes, see if they can get the gist of this, see if it lines up with anything we've been speaking about here, if we can get any new information. Again, this is Legal Eagle, Trump's insane plan to steal elections leaked. And again, for people not familiar with the channel, not typically a channel that would be out there lying, propagandizing, sensationalizing stories like this, unless they had good reason, to say things like this. So again, let's dive into just a few minutes of it. Like I said, we got a ton to cover tonight, obviously having to do and pertaining to the war. We got some clips of a couple senators, a couple congressmen, kind of speaking their voice, airing their the displeasure with what's taking place. We have
the threat to a government no longer constrained by the plain.
I didn't tell you to speak yet. We got a ton to cover. There's a lot going on. I also want to speak about Major Ojeda's win down in North Carolina. I want to speak about the other primary victories and the outcomes in the primaries that we were taking a look at and talking about. And then we have Kyle Higbee going absolutely bloodthirsty, stark raving mad on Newsmax. We got a lot to get into, so stick with me. I do appreciate you guys. Hit that like button. Here's what we're going to dive into right now. Again, the Trump's plan to steal elections leaked. And let's see if we can dive down on this and stop it before it happens. Here we go.
26 midterms are just around the corner, and the president is starting to panic, as are his fellow Republicans who are facing terrible polls and historical swings in off-year elections. Not to worry, though. The president has
I'm not sure. Is this Mrs. Legal Eagle? I'm not 100% sure. I've watched the channel, but I'm not that kind of in deep with this channel. I'm not sure. If it's not Mrs. Legal Eagle, I do apologize, but I'm not sure.
And that plan is to make it really hard for Americans to vote. On February 4th, Trump went on Dan Bongino's podcast.
Probably should have just waited 5 seconds, and it would have told me that she's Liz Dye, and apparently that doesn't tell me anymore. So I don't know. Maybe it is Mrs. Legal Eagle.
And announced that elections needed to be nationalized.
We want to take over. We should take over the voting in at least 15 places. The Republicans ought to nationalize the voting.
A few weeks later, a PBS News reporter asked him about a 17-page draft executive order that would do just that.
Are you declaring a national emergency around the midterm elections?
Who told you that?
Ooh, that's the clip that we were talking about. Obviously, we talked about the Dan Bongino clip as well, but that's the one where he was like responding like, who the hell told you that? It wasn't like a no, wasn't a denial, wasn't like a prepared statement that he usually gives. It wasn't his normal, hey, who the hell do you work for? So I can, shit on whatever company that you talk about or whatever company that you work for, so I don't have to answer the question type of response from Trump. It was like, how the fuck did you know that? So that was that one.
Told you that, not there's no such document, not that's absurd. Trump didn't disavow it because he knows it's real. In fact, it's been.
Now, is this this is the order, a proposed executive order establishing security, integrity, and transparency for United States elections with protections against foreign interference. 12 April 2025. Section 1, authorities. By the authority vested in me as president by the Constitution and the laws of the United States of America, including the National Emergencies Act, Public Law 94-41209, yada, 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 NEA, Federal Information Security Modernization Act. Okay, does it go on? Because you can't really see Section 2. Article 1, Section 4 of the United States Constitution. Article 3, Section 2 of the United States Constitution. Defense Production Act, Executive Order 14248. This is the Section 2 says background and purpose. On January 6, 2017, the Department of Homeland Security officially designated election infrastructure as critical infrastructure, and that's all I can get from that.
Kicking around Republican inboxes for almost a year now. For the past year, the Trump administration has been running an all-fronts campaign to seize control of American elections through executive orders, FBI raids, Justice Department lawsuits against states, the systematic dismantling of election security infrastructure, and
again, these are all like the little bits and pieces that we're talking about that all, when combined, obviously give you a clear intent, give you a clear example, and tell you exactly what they want to try to do. Whether or not to steal the election outright, or again, just try to lose, by as close as possible, by as small a margin as possible. Whatever that is, they're trying something, and it's pretty clear.
Piece of legislation called the SAVE Act that cannot pass, but won't quite die. Kind of like the lie about foreign interference in American elections, which can be used to justify
another thing that we've been talking about. I mean, do you notice how they started to stoke up the 2020 talk again? We talked about, I don't know how many shows ago, but we were talking about and joking about like how Sidney Powell was going to pop back up pretty soon. Like the way they were speaking about Italy and Hugo Chavez and the fucking satellite dishes again. And, it came out of a couple tennis shoes and the voting machines were hidden in some guy's asshole. And, they were so out of bounds and out of fucking control with their allegations and shit. Like they were laughed out of basically everywhere that they went, right? But now it's stoking back up here. Now they're trying to, whether it's the raid in Fulton County there, where Tulsi Gabbard was associated so that they could propose that, that like China had some interference or something like that. Like in these different ways, they're trying to, again, put it back into the zeitgeist. So inevitably, when these things pop up, when they start to spring their plan into action, you're not caught by surprise. You've heard them speak about it for months in advance before they try to spring their plan in action.
About anything. The Constitution's Elections Clause vests the power to run elections in two separate entities. It says the times, places, and manner of holding elections for senators and representatives shall be prescribed in each state by the legislature thereof, but the Congress may at any time by law make or alter such regulations. So the states run their own elections. State legislators set the rules and local officials carry them out. But Congress can override those rules, at least for federal elections, by passing an actual law. Note that the Constitution gives the president exactly zero role in administering or certifying elections. And that was not an oversight by the founders. They just fought a war to liberate themselves from a monarch, and they weren't trying to empower a president to take control of elections and make himself ruler for life. So they gave states primary authority over elections and empowered Congress to step in as a check. And Congress has passed a few narrow statutes that give the executive branch some limited election-related authority. And crucially, every single one of those laws was enacted to make it easier to vote, not harder. The Voting Rights Act of 1965 was signed into law after Bloody Sunday when police beat Congressman John Lewis and hundreds of other peaceful civil rights marchers on the Edmund Pettus Bridge. It gives the Department of Justice authority to sue states for racially discriminatory election practices, which keep Black Americans from the polls. The National Voter Registration Act of 1993.
Thank you, Olga. I appreciate that very much. Thank you, guys. Anybody who's contributed so far. Again, stick around to the end of the show. If you do send in a contribution, I do apologize if I don't see it go by. Obviously, I focus on the show, but stick around to the end. We always make sure to congratulate, thank, highlight, appreciate everybody that sends in a super chat, hits a milestone, anything like that. So thank you, Olga. I do appreciate that 10. Glory, love on all that know truth. As to those that learn lies are wrong, stop with lies, live by truth. Amen. Appreciate that, Olga. Thank you so much. Appreciate the contribution. Shout out to you.
Sometimes called the Motor Voter Act, was designed to increase civic participation by requiring states to register voters at the DMV. The Help America Vote Act of 2002.
I'm curious because I did start this and I was like, you know what? I should probably watch this with you guys. And I'm not sure. Do they actually at some point talk about I wish I had enough time to dive into it all with you guys, but I'm curious if they actually show us the memo, or again, if I was kind of caught up in a little bit of clickbait, because I do believe that the intent is there. I do believe that they're correct on the intentions of what the Trump administration wants to do. But is there a specific, one that you could point to type of memo that she's discussing, that she's referencing to? I know I'm talking to myself at this point because you guys probably haven't seen this, but I'm just kind of talking out loud. I'm kind of curious because for the sake of time, that would be really good if we could just read that memo. Again, it seems to be voters shall verify their registration. I'm not sure if this is it or if these are the laws in place. Let's see here. What's this one? All right. Yeah. So she does inevitably go into the executive order. Let's see.
April 12th, 2025, and has been circulating among Trump's allies for months. It's not clear who's behind this memo, but the current top candidate is a Florida lawyer.
Always a good sign, right? That's always a good sign. That like whatever they're talking about is above board when you can't really figure out who the fucking email originated with. Typically good in government when that happens. That's typically something. Or like when the DHS guy, the ICE whistleblower was testifying, like, here's a memo on you trying to, this is how we want you to teach all of these assholes how to go around the Constitution. But yeah, don't write any of that on paper. Don't send that in an email or anything. And if you do, make it like, Inspector Gadget's burning paper, make it so it can self-destruct in about 14 seconds after that. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, yeah, that sounds a little fishy to me. Like, I'm no fucking government official here. But it sounds a bit fishy to me if you can't find out where a memo talking about, I don't know, stealing elections originated in the government. Just saying. Could be wrong.
Peter Tickton. Tickton is a character. His main claim to fame is having been teenage Trump's roommate at boarding school. He's also a poet of sorts. Here's one he wrote about lusting after a woman on the subway. And no, I do not get paid enough to read that on the air. We've met Ticton before on this channel. He was local counsel when Trump.
Is that who she's suspecting was behind kind of this memo here?
His sparkle magic lawyer, Alina Habba, sued Hillary Clinton and James Comey and half of D.C. for doing the RICO and got themselves sanctioned to the tune of $1 million. Right. Ticton has been suspended from the practice of law at least twice and is currently the go-to lawyer for MAGA D-listers. He recently persuaded the president to issue a, quote, pardon for Tina Peters, the Colorado election clerk who compromised her county's voting machines in an
Her name's been coming up a lot too, man. Whether it's the other side referencing like how, poorly mistreated she's been, right? Or like, Trump, remember when Trump said like she supposedly had cancer and she was sick and shit like that when it was never such thing. Like that was just completely fucking made up by Donald Trump. Oh, thank you, JD. Happiest of birthdays to Nick and Bethany too today. We got a twofer. We got a fucking twofer in the chat. Let's go. Oh, let's fucking do it here. I wish I had a happy birthday song. I used to have one, but, moves and shit, things got trampled. Happy birthday, you fucking two. You fucking two troublemakers in the chat, you. Happy birthday, Nick. Happy birthday, Bethany. I do appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for your viewership, your loyalty here, and everything that you guys do. And thank you, JD, for bringing it up and making it, bringing it to my knowledge, bringing it to my awareness, It's been a long like at some point a vacation, like after covering all the shit, it's needed at some point. Like, I don't know how long I can go covering multiple wars and like death and destruction and like the collapse of society by the Trump regime, but you guys are doing it. So fuck it. I'm here with you. Let's roll. But happy birthday to you guys. I appreciate you. But you do it. You know what I mean? You guys, I couldn't do it. I could. You guys are here. You know what I mean? You guys are doing the same fucking thing I'm doing. I'm just sitting here in front of a camera with a microphone. So you guys deserve, all the credit in the world. I always say, you guys try to, give me, shower me with praise, but I'm not very good at taking it. And I like to throw it back on you guys because, again, without you guys watching, you know what I mean? I'm just a weirdo. There'd be a fucking wellness check called to me if I start speaking to myself like this, like 7 days a week with nobody watching. Like that's when people start sending people over for like a little, hey, what's the deal here? But you guys do it. So I appreciate it. Like I said, you guys stick with me, through thick and thin, and we dive into these incredibly difficult topics all the time. And again, I don't purport to be a scholar. I don't purport to be like, speaking down to you guys at all or teach it. Like we're just learning this together. We're going through it together. And I feel like we're trying to build a community of people that want to be engaged, but don't like to be, lied to by the mainstream media, want to engage, but don't like, certain aspects of, I won't call out any specific channels, but, there's different parts of different channels that you don't like, and they may be too pinky up at the end of it, and it may seem like they're speaking down to you, and whatever it is, whatever it may be. I appreciate you for giving me your time. I do. But all right, so I want to go on with this, but I know like you kind of will have to watch the whole thing. So again, I'll drop the I'm going to drop the link in the chat. See, I told you, vacation. I don't know what the fuck. I'm going to drop the link in the chat. That way you guys can have it. And if you want to take a look at it later after the show, not during the show, that would be rude. Who wants to do that, for crying out loud? Then you guys will have that link. That way you guys could be up to speed. I'm sure she goes into a little bit more detail about this. It looks like she does here in about a minute. So let me see if I can dive into just another minute of this. Maybe she goes through this a little bit more. Because I'm kind of curious as to what this says specifically.
From the vasty deep this time around? Well, this proposed executive order requires every ballot to be hand-marked on American-made paper, all votes hand-counted in public at the precinct. Every voter must re-register for 2026 from scratch with documentary proof of citizenship through their county. Voters must...
Whoa. Voters shall register in person or at a county satellite office anew for the 2026 United States election through their county pursuant to state process for registration. Their registration shall include a national unique voter number, full legal name, full date of birth, full address, and proof of U.S. citizenship, and any other state requirements necessary to establish eligibility. County shall provide bipartisan mobile registration services for the disabled, infirm, and those who otherwise are unable to travel to the county administration, elections office, or county satellite offices. County voter registration. Sounded like she said everybody had to re-register. Is that what I'm getting out of that one? So even if you're registered already, you'd have to go through the process again, which it would inevitably deter people from doing it, and regardless of how easy they try to make it. Some people will struggle with the process. Some people will forget about it. Whatever it is, you know what I mean?
All votes hand counted in public at the precinct. Every voter must re-register for 2026 from scratch with documentary proof of citizenship through their county. Voters must mail a reply to a postcard from the registrar every election cycle or be automatically unregistered.
Voters shall verify the registration for each future United States election in accordance with any applicable state processes for registration. If no such process exists, the state shall send a postcard to the voter requesting the voter to confirm their registration for the next election online with their PIN. If no such process exists, the state shall send a postcard to a voter requesting the voter to confirm their registration for the next election cycle with their PIN. If the voter does not reply to the postcard and enter their PIN within 90 days of the date of the card, the date that the card was mailed, the voter shall be suspended or have their status changed to inactive on the county voter registration database. PIN verification shall be confirmed by the county. Okay, well, knowing what we know about the fucking USPS and, God bless any workers out there, it ain't your fault. It's the higher ups, I'm sure. But, it's pretty typical for mail to get lost. So if you don't know that this was being sent out to you and it gets lost in the shuffle, like, then what's to say when you go to vote and they're just going to be like, well, sorry here, you've been deemed to be suspended or you're deemed ineligible or inactive. You can't do it, right? Well, then you're screwed because obviously you're not going to get it taken care of on the day of. Right, you'd have to somehow recognize that you were, changed to inactive well beforehand, so you could change that. And I'm sure there's other instances and other pieces of evidence, other situations that you could think of in which this could be really, really bad and hinder a lot of people from voting. But again, that's the goal. Like, you know what I mean? I'm thinking logically here, and it's like, oh yeah, it doesn't make sense to somebody thinking logically, but they're not thinking logically. What they're trying to do is get less and less and less people to vote. Because that's the only way they have any fucking chance of winning. God damn it.
Counties may not register anyone to vote in the 30 days before an election. Drop boxes are expressly prohibited. It bans no excuse absentee balloting and requires that anyone who wants to vote absentee get their ballot notarized. No ballot received after Election Day counts, regardless of postmark. Election challenges must be heard in federal court.
So basically all of the bullshit, nonsense talking points and rhetoric that we've heard from the Republicans for quite some time now. No mail-in voting, no drop boxes. We don't want you hoarding all the fucking votes here, people. You know what I mean? It's like, shut the fuck up. You know what I mean? You and your 2000 Mules movie failed quite bigly, if I do say so myself. So you guys can't be talking any shit. But again, it just seems to be a wish list by Donald Trump and Republicans of all the things that they don't like, all the things that they think give Democrats a boost or an edge in elections that make it, easier for people to vote and cast their vote for the people that made it easier for them to vote in the first time in the first place. So yeah, this shit's again right in line with what we've been talking about as far as the plan. We weren't sure what exactly the plan was. Remember how we were talking about, like, it seems like something's in the works, but we don't know what exactly. Well, it seems like this is this is the thing to go by here. This seems to be the memo that they're all flying by. You know what I'm saying? This is what they're using as the blueprint, seemingly. And I don't know how it was leaked. I'm sure if you go on, she probably mentions, if she hasn't already, in case I missed it. But again, this is something that we're not supposed to see. This is something that nobody put their name to, right? That's when you know it's fucked up. That's when you know nobody wants to take credit for it. Like, people want to take credit for every little thing in government if they can, unless it's illegal, unless it can be deemed as trying to steal an election. Then that's typically something you don't want to place your name onto. But again, I recommend everybody check this out. Again, Legal Eagle on YouTube here. And typically, I just want to repeat, not a political channel, not a political account per se. Obviously, he dives into political topics every now and again, but typically from the, plainly from the lawyer. I don't know why I just sound like fucking James Cole right there. I don't know. I just went to South Carolina real quick. A lawyer. Oh boy. All right. Anyway, yeah. But yeah, it just basically gives his perspective as a lawyer from the law angle. But not typically pro or for or against or anything like that. But I was surprised to see. I got to say, I was surprised to see this right here from the channel. Just being so blatant about what they're talking about and having it deal, directly with what we've suspected for quite some time now. Considering what we've seen by the Trump administration. All right, unfortunately, we got a shitload to cover, a shitload to talk about. So we're going to dive on here. I do appreciate you guys for sticking with me. Hit that like button. You're watching the Boston Brian Blunt Politics live stream here. We're going to go on to a couple clips from some of these representatives here. Given their ones and twos, giving us their spiel on what they think about the illegal war now being perpetrated by this regime that has led again to 6 U.S. service members paying the ultimate price. Thomas Massie, once again, I can't believe I said this. I actually posted this the other day. I can't believe I'm going to say this. But, this country would be able to turn itself around a lot fucking quicker if we had more people on the other side of the aisle like Thomas Massie. And Lord help me for saying it. And that doesn't take away from anything that the guy said, done, voted for in the past, how he's directly responsible in a lot of fucking ways for what we're seeing right now. Don't get it twisted. Okay, let's not go too fucking far with this. But I'm just saying, as far as, stepping up against the Epstein files, speaking up against that, going against everybody in his fucking party, right? Being willing to call out, the wars, the party that says they're against these fucking new wars. They want a president of peace, seemingly really quiet right now. Well, Thomas Massie, again, not afraid to speak up. He's not afraid to reach across the aisle, seemingly to work with people like Ro Khanna to get the Epstein law written. He's done a few other things since then to make sure that a lot of people have been exposed and held accountable for even just a fraction of a second, whether it be, opened investigations, fucking high-profile resignations, arrests, whatever it may have been. He's done a pretty good job. And again, taking away absolutely nothing from how decrepit and disgusting he's been in the past and shit that he said. His voting record, nothing. So again, don't be spinning the wheels here. I don't want you rewriting history. Okay. But this is again, Thomas Massie. I think there's a couple clips here. Iran is not Venezuela. The Ayatollah was not president. Well, I'll let him talk. They're kind of short clips. This is about 35 seconds. So I'll let Thomas Massie give his thoughts.
Swarms of refugees.
All right, let me start you from the beginning. Now I do apologize that this is Twitter and the sound absolutely sucks. Coming out of here, I'll have it all the way up, as you can see, but no, it still sucks. So maybe turn it up and I'll let the whole thing play. My apologies, but what do you want to do? You know what I mean? You got to get it where you got to get it.
And it will send more swarms of refugees into Europe and the United States. Iran is not Venezuela. The Ayatollah was not a president. He was a religious leader from a region notorious for radical Islamists. And the United States and Israel turned him into a martyr. And in the process of doing so, we've already expanded.
And again, how it's so fucking unbelievable how similar the circumstances are right now in terms of trying to attempt a regime change, right? Going in there, creating a fucking ruckus, killing people, right? Just like they did in Caracas, just like they did in Venezuela, trying to fucking, chop the head off the snake, so to speak. But literally all they did was create chaos, create a show, create some theater, kill a bunch of people, only to have the same fucking regime in place. You know what I mean? When we left Venezuela, as to this point right now, same regime in place. Same fucking bad motherfuckers responsible for the same corruption and the same death. Just Nix Maduro. That's it. You know what I mean? Same motherfuckers. What do we got now? We got the fucking Ayatollah's son in charge. Okay? So we've killed thousands of fucking people responsible for possible fucking war crimes, right? We've seen hundreds, if not thousands, killed in countries all over the region where the United States quite literally failed to evacuate and protect any, not only Americans in the area, but also fucking citizens of the country in the area, right? So all that shit and all fucking, you know what? I don't know. You know what I mean? What are you going to do at this point? It's tough. It's tough to know. But we're still stuck in the moment where we have the Ayatollah's son in fucking charge. We got reprisals in the streets, shooting in the streets, chaos all over the fucking region. We got Israel going into Lebanon, right? We got Lindsey Graham telling the United States and begging Donald Trump to go and team up with Israel to go into fucking Lebanon. Like everything's out of control. It has spiraled very fucking rapidly, I gotta say. And like we've talked about, the lack of well, I would say, because we don't expect the air defenses to have 100% completion rate. Like they don't have 100% success rate, obviously. But the bases and the places that Iran has been able to fucking hit, kind of the way in which they've been able to get through the Iron Dome in Israel even has definitely set off some alarm bells in the U.S. fucking military. Okay, it's definitely raising some red flags. It's definitely getting the attention, and it's definitely making it so they have to come out and at least say, this is a little bit more than we were expecting as far as retaliation. And it continues because what's today? Day 5 of this fucking shit. And, it continues, and Pete Hegseth continues to rule out boots on the ground. They continue to talk about how this is just the beginning. They're just starting to ramp up this war. Like, we started with our itty-bitty pieces, and now we're going to really unleash the big shit. Like, we're quite literally talking about doing away with international law, talking about doing away with the, rules of engagement, the Geneva Conventions, the UN charters, and we're going to start dropping 2,000-pound bombs in residential areas, much like we were just calling out from Israel in Gaza. But it's going to be our shit. It's going to be our fucking people dropping and sending those fucking bombs over. So you see what Donald Trump has walked us into? You see what Benjamin Netanyahu has walked us fucking into at this point? You have Shia versus Sunni battles popping up. You got people trying to storm consulates and embassies all over the fucking place. I think you got the Saudi government sending out the military to try to quell all of the fucking uprisings and shit in the streets over there. You got vacationers and Americans and tourists all over the region scared to fucking death because they don't know what building's going to be struck next. And none of this was thought about beforehand. None of this was like, hey, we should probably think about the circumstances and the outcomes and what's going to happen afterwards. Like, you don't just think about the plan leading up to. You have to also calculate for what happens afterwards, because that is meaningful. You know what I mean? You don't just, the world doesn't just stop once the fucking military action is undertaken. No. We continue living, and you have to continue to deal with those issues. So you might want to play out and plan out for what the fucking circumstances might be in that instance. I'm just saying. I know I'm crazy. I'm not speaking. I'm tired, and I'm probably speaking crazy at this point. But I don't know. Sounds sensible to me. But again, here he is.
Of dollars, and more solemnly, 6 American families must now lay to rest their sons and daughters. And for what? This administration can't even give us a straight answer as to why we launched this preemptive war.
And he's 100% right. And I'm sure there's not many Republicans besides himself that were up there saying the things that he was saying either. Here's another quick video here where Massey goes on to talk about the lies of nuclear war, but then 6 months ago, we assured that it was decimated, pretty much sounding like us here on the left, which is, again, one reason why we have to point out that people on the right, or anybody on the right, I should say, is willing to speak up like this. Again, we don't use Marjorie Taylor Greene's clips and words against Donald Trump because we like Marjorie Taylor Greene, far fucking from it, and you guys definitely know that if you watch the show long enough, and if you have any questions about that, you need to watch just about a second longer, and I think we'll have those questions answered for you. But anyway, we only use it to show the divide, right? To show the dissent by these people that were widely seen and widely known as the most sycophantic, the most fucking loyal to Donald Trump, that would defend and protect him against anything. But now they're speaking out. Now they're, the cracks have formed a long time ago. And again, our job, since I've said the beginning, is to fucking stick our feet, a crowbar, a fucking monkey bar, a tractor trailer, whatever we can in those cracks, and pry them some bitches open until there's nothing left. And that's what we're going to continue to do here. And this shows that here. You know what I mean? I know there's not a ton of them speaking out, but anytime you got one or two willing to do it, we should be using that and highlighting that against the Republicans themselves, because that gives them something they have to answer for. And again, it doesn't give them the ability to combat or talk bullshit about the Democrats. They're infighting against themselves, which is something else we've continued to talk about.
And for what? This administration can't even give us a straight answer as to why we launched this preemptive war. The president says we had to strike first because an Iranian strike was imminent. Meanwhile, the Department of Defense conceded there was no evidence of an imminent Iranian strike.
Yeah, and boy, oh boy, has this administration fucked up. And we got a clip. I know I have a couple clips of that. Pete Hegseth quite literally calling it a war, Mark Wayne Mullen calling it a war, and then everybody in the fucking conservative party, conservative movement trying to walk those statements back. Be like, no, I didn't say war. It wasn't a war. I didn't say war. I know he said war. I know I said war, but it was not really a war. It's like it's like a play war. It's like a fake war. It's like an operational war type thing, but without the war in there. You know what I mean? Like they just cannot help themselves because they know the legal ramifications, right? They know what it means if they actually were to call it what we know in reality that is happening right now, which is an outright and widespread war that's fucking taking place. They know what it means for them. So they have to go with the Vladimir Putin route of calling it a special military operation. I don't think they see the connection there, but we do. We do.
Some told us this war was about nuclear weapons, but 6 months ago, we were assured our last strike on Iran decimated their nuclear program. So which is it? I think the most candid answer came from the Secretary of State, who told the press that Israel forced our hand and dragged us into this war again. And that truth is the very reason why it is Congress that must decide war. If American lives are to be risked and American blood is to be shed, that decision must be debated and voted on by the representatives of the American people. And that debate is meant to be arduous. And that vote is meant to be hard. I have a theory. I think,
which again, you continue to see even today in clips, the vote on the Iraq war being used and held against people. Like that's what we wanted with the war resolution, the war powers vote. Right? We wanted people on the record. We wanted to be able to use that against them. We wanted that fucking record in history to point back on and say, you motherfuckers voted for this. You are on the record. You are on fucking record voting for this atrocity, voting for the war crimes, voting for the dead U.S. servicemen and women. Right. That's why we wanted this. And it doesn't do as much justice, doesn't do as much good. If, when you do it after the fact, when these people, decide to get a conscience or if they, you know what I mean? Like we want to know beforehand, before the military action kicks off, we want the American people to have a say. We want Congress to deliberate. We want fucking active and ongoing, talks happening about the outcomes, the repercussions, what could possibly happen, not only in the region, but also the secondary impacts to the United States, whether it be fuel prices, energy costs on the whole. What we're seeing at this moment in time, like those are talks that should happen before we send our military to their deaths, again, used as political pawns and weapons by this Trump regime. But again, that's just me thinking sensibly again.
Colleagues don't want to go on record because we have a terrible track record of meddling in the Middle East. They don't want their name associated with this when it doesn't turn out well. But Congress cannot be bothered with its constitutional duty because for many in this chamber, it's easier to simply allow someone else's sons and daughters to be sent to combat without their vote. And to be clear, we aren't even here to declare war today. All we're voting on is a war powers resolution to reassert the Constitution.
And that was voted down. Again, in case I haven't mentioned that already, that war powers vote was voted down. So that is dead in the water as well. And I think there was one here from Jim McGovern as well. So I always got to give love to my boy, Jim McGovern. Anytime I can hear a Boston accent in Congress, I'm going to do it. So I apologize, everybody, but Jim McGovern's got something to say, so we're going to listen to it, okay?
Everyone's recognized. Mr. Speaker, nobody is defending the Ayatollah. There is no love lost for a brutal government that sponsors terror and murders their people. Iran has been doing this for decades. Everybody knows that.
Well, I mean, again, if that's something that needs to take place, don't we have like an intelligence committee? Like, don't we have, obviously we have ways about doing that stuff, right? I mean, where we don't have to tip our hand, we don't have to tip our hat at the same time. Obviously, we have elected representatives in Congress that are there to represent us. So at that moment in time, they could probably see it, incumbent upon themselves to not release the information to the American public, having already discussed it, voted on it as representatives of the American public in that regard. So again, I'm not going to sit here and lie and say I know the ins and outs and how that would work exactly. But again, I'm sure that that's already been thought about. I'm sure that there's rules and regulations and ways about that and talking about it in skiffs or, whatever it may be, that type of thing. So good question, though, Steph. I do appreciate you. Thank you so much. And I appreciate everybody on Facebook, YouTube, and obviously everybody on Twitch with Steph. Thank you, guys.
And so my question is this. Why wasn't Donald Trump in favor of regime change until this weekend? Why did he campaign on swearing he would never send American kids to fight and die in the Middle East? Republicans can't answer because they were against war with Iran until exactly the second Donald Trump decided to go to war. And now they're all running around sounding like neocon lunatics. America can't take this level of gaslighting. I went to the classified briefing. There was no imminent threat. I guess unless Republicans want to redefine.
That's another
the
huge
word
point
imminent
too.
to mean
That's another huge point that everybody's been talking about. Like even after the briefing, like even after the meeting that was supposed to give us like the reasoning, the justification, give us the insight as to why this was taking place. Like it seems like the congressmen and women that were in there that had the meeting, that got the briefing, came out more confused than when they went in. Right? They came out with less answers and more questions than when they originally went in to fucking hear this from whoever gave the briefing or whoever gave them the meeting. You know what I mean? Like, and it's been reported. There's been multiple people and multiple congressmen and women to come out and be like, I don't know what the fuck they want. I don't know what they're talking about. Like, I'm more confused now than I was when I went into the meeting. Like, you got to ask them because this is completely nonsensical to me, and I just couldn't give you the answers. I know I'm supposed to be able to give you the answers, but they're just I'm working with nothing here. We're not working with 50. We're not working with 52 cards. You know what I mean? Appreciate that. All right. Thank you, Greg. Draft that lanky inbred Baron and his brother. I'm telling you, if you want, I mean, he'd be up there. I'm sure he'd be able to take a few for the team. I'm not going to lie. I don't know how well he'd be able to duck under like the trenches. Like, I'm not sure you could hide somebody that's tall in the trenches, but hey, maybe it would give the squad, time to run the other way. You know what I mean? A little sacrificial lamb type of action. Just saying. I'm just saying. It's one idea.
stretching back 47 years. This whole thing is just so transparently built on lies. Republicans went from imminent threat to regime change to nukes back to imminent threat in the last 24 hours. I'll tell you what this is, Mr. Speaker. This is Iraq 2.0. I still remember the lies about WMDs. I voted against that war too.
Yeah, we're hearing the exact same shit right now. Same exact fucking shit, just basically change out Iran for Iraq and WMDs for nuclear weapons and nuclear capabilities and missiles. It's no different whatsoever.
George Bush had the decency to lie to people's face.
At least George Bush had the decency to lie to people's face, he says. Like, again, that's what we've been talking about too. Like, the shit that fucking Hegseth is saying in front of cameras is quite literally like what you would expect fucking Goering and Hitler himself and Goebbels and like fucking all of these maniacal assholes, Stalin, Kim Jong-un, Mao Zedong, like all of these fucking people. Like, you would expect this to be something that they would say like, fuck international law, fuck the rules of engagement, we will bomb, baby, bomb. Like, this is basically paraphrasing Hegseth's entire speech at that point. Like, the skin ripping one the guy has every time he talks about bombing civilians is quite alarming. I'm not gonna lie, it's fucking alarming. But it's like, not only do you have people saying that, but it's like you also have like Donald Trump out there trying to spin this 7 ways from Sunday. And as long as everybody's not talking about him and the Epstein files, he really doesn't give a full lying fuck.
The way no congressional vote can legitimize this because.
But again, sorry, just to finish that point. But the shit that we're hearing, like Pete Hegseth says in front of cameras, and the shit that Donald Trump has been saying in front of, like, that's the shit that used to happen in the back doors, like with the cigars and the fucking whiskey, like the back rooms with the locked doors that we, the public, don't fucking hear about. We hear about the weapons of mass destruction. We hear about all the bullshit propaganda from Halliburton, from Bush, from Cheney, and from the rest of these dickheads, right? What they actually talk about in the background is the oil, is the money, is the profits, is the this, is that thing. But now, again, it's kind of like flipped on its head where they think they have enough power. They feel so fucking comfortable. Donald Trump knows that he can burn the fucking house down on his way out if he's not going to just try to stay in power until he croaks, right? That he has enough people in place, the right people in place, to get away with shit like this, where he doesn't even care anymore about saying the shit behind, closed doors. It's just out in the open, and he's given that tacit permission, and he's given that fucking, that fake confidence to Pete Hegseth, and he's given the fake confidence to Pam Bondi. That's why you see them acting the way they do at the press conference, because they know Donald Trump's going to fucking enjoy it. Right? Pam Bondi with their bullshit that she pulls at the meetings and the committee hearings, going back at the Democrats like it was a fucking Trump rally. You know, she's got her whole notes and scripts of all this, you know, the opposition research and shit, instead of being the Department of Justice leader and fucking figuring out who committed these crimes and holding people accountable. You know, that's just, again, thinking sensibly in that regard. But no, you know, they're saying the quiet part out loud because they feel comfortable enough in this government. They feel like they have enough control over the government to basically just say, fuck you, right? To basically just give a finger and stick the finger up in your face and say, you know, stop me if you can. You know, they know the public doesn't like this. They know it's fucking unpopular. They know the majority of this country think this is atrocious. They don't understand the reasoning behind it. They didn't feel threatened to begin with. They don't want to see fucking U.S. servicemen and women dying. They know the blood is on Donald Trump's hands. But does he give a shit? Is it going to fucking sway his decisions? Is it going to sway whether or not he's going to continue to send U.S. troops to their deaths? Of course fucking not.
Gentleman's recognized.
Mr. Speaker.
Oh, shit. Did I start it over? All right. Well, we're not going to listen to that all again. Sorry. I must have hit a button somewhere in there. But McGovern goes on a couple times. He also has this clip. Might be one of the same ones, but he basically says, how is this America first? You guys broke your top campaign promise. Good luck with that. I hope the defense contract, the money was worth it. Shame on all of you. The mask is off. You're just all a bunch of pathetic neocon warmongers. So again, good for McGovern and Massey and anybody else that spoke out against this, again, senseless and ridiculous fucking war that we've now seen. And now to go to the opposite side of things. Sorry to keep Nancy Mace on your screen for too long. Now to go to the opposite side of things in our clip fest tonight. Here's Carl Shitsby over on Newsmax, who I've never actually seen him more excited. Like, we talk about how excited Pete Hegseth gets when we're talking about the bombing of civilians, when we're talking about killing civilians. Well, yeah, that submarine that took out that tanker, yeah, I think there was 90 something people that died in that. I think there was, what was it, like around 87 to 90 people that died in that attack. So again, let's just watch and see how the other side is reacting and gloating and celebrating and how joyful and gleeful they are at the death and destruction. And again, how callous they are about the lives that have been lost on our side already, about how much we have, spent, about how much we have sacrificed in this fight already. And then and then think about how long they say this could last, right? Here's Kyle Shitsby. Look at how I've never seen him this fucking happy in my life. Never in my life. Not even on his wedding day was he this fucking happy. God forbid somebody is unlucky enough to be married to this fucking psychotic son of a bitch.
So we got more than 20 Iranian Navy ships sunk. Double the bombs of shock and awe, which was the initial strike on the Iraq back in 2003. First long-range precision strike missiles successfully ever used in combat. And what is about the coolest video on the internet right there on your screen.
Yeah, it's just a video in which, 90-something people lost their lives, right? It's only a video in which we've expended 6 American lives so far to obtain, right? But again, go on with being joyful and gleeful about this whole fucking psychotic fucking campaign, right? And again, he almost can't even stay in his seat. I'm not even joking. He almost pops out of his seat a few times in this.
Boom! Boom! For the first time since World War II, American forces sunk an enemy ship with a torpedo. Yes, I am fine with my tax dollars.
Would you like a second? I'm sorry. If you want, we can take you off the screen for, what is it going to take you? About 13 and a half seconds. I think we could afford 13 and a half seconds. You want a microscope? No? You can find it without one. Okay. All right. So you got 10 seconds left. You should still be able to fit that in. We'll give you a second because I know otherwise you're going to need to change your pants on Newsmax here. And that's not what we want to see happen. We're a Christian news network here. For fuck's sakes, Kyle.
Paying for this. Now, the combat testing alone in this conflict and the immediate battlefield feedback we're getting from this campaign, it's worth the entire budget of the Pentagon.
Yeah, it's worth the entire budget of the Pentagon. All the research that we're getting, right? All like the fucking information we're getting from like the bombs we're dropping and the people we're killing and the targets that we're hitting. Like it's so much worth the fucking $1 trillion fucking Pentagon budget at this point in time, right?
The aerial experience from this operation sets us like light years ahead of any other country's military. An experience.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm just going to say, may not be like a full air campaign as far as like, let's just say like an Air Force is concerned. But in that regard, using that logic and going by that metric, wouldn't the Ukrainians and their drone activity and their drone operators be far and away more advanced in that regard, considering we're more likely to see warfare on the level in the scale of like what's happening in Europe right now, as opposed to, again, this kind of bullshit half-assed air campaign that's really not going to get the job done, but we're going to say it can get the job done, but is really just going to lead to instability on the region and different fucking factions fighting with other factions, which is going to lead to more instability. And we're just going to basically see the destabilization of the entire region, which is kind of what Benjamin Netanyahu wanted. It's funny how that works out that way. But here's Kyle Shitsby again saying right here out loud that the information that we've obtained because of the use of our military, like the training that we've gotten so far, and how we could use that in upcoming wars is worth the 6 soldiers that were killed. That's what he's saying right now. It's worth every fucking moment that it's worth what's the tracker at right now? What's the tracker at? 2.3. Yeah, it's definitely worth the 6 lives and the 2.3 billion that we spent so far in 5 days of this. So just curious how many mouths that could feed. How many kids could that help? Just saying, how many veterans could that house? I don't know. How many people could that get health care to? I'm just asking questions here. I'm just asking questions. Oops, sorry. Let me put this back on for you.
Sure. And this experience is financially cheaper than most training scenarios, by the way. But
this situation is financially cheaper than most training situations. So there's Kyle openly saying that the United States military, as per cost effectiveness, would rather train on actual human beings, would actually bomb real fucking cities, would actually spill real blood and cause real destabilization in an entire fucking region that up until this point now wasn't the best, but it sure as fuck hadn't looked like this in a long time. I can tell you that much. Right? So much for peace in the Middle East. But here he is right here saying that it was worth all of that just so we could practice on real fucking people. Like, you want to know how demonic and demented these sons of bitches are? Like, I'm sure somewhere he's got a fucking tattoo of a cross, right? He's probably got the barbed wire somewhere. He's probably got a pendant. I'm sure he's probably got a fucking crucifix up his asshole right now. I mean, this motherfucker, meanwhile, he's condemning, 10 million people to death in the greater Tehran area. We're talking about, 15 million people to death. He's cheering for the 90 people that drowned to death after their ship was struck by a submarine for the first time since World War II. But no, go on, please. He needs to be strapped in his goddamn seat. His bone is going to fucking push him off.
Present something to the haters.
Please speak to the haters, Kyle. Okay, because that's how you look cool. Well, how old are you? 50 something? Let's talk to the haters. Of course, I'm probably how I'm going to be talking when I'm 50. No lie. But again, that's my generation. So fuck you, Kyle. Leave it to us. We're going to be the cool. We're going to be the cool ones at the fucking home. You know what I mean? We're going to be rocking fucking T.I. and Korn and Metallica. Shit you don't hear at the home right now. So fucking you guys just wait.
We're out there handing out dirt naps to the #1 state sponsor of terror. People should be cheering. And people are upset about it.
Yeah, I mean, can you believe it? They're actually talking about, they actually put it on the front pages, and somehow the media was so disgusting to talk about the fake news of the 6 U.S. service members that paid the ultimate price. Oh, no, that was real. I'm sorry, I heard Pete Hegseth, he called it fake news and was really pissed off that the media was actually talking about that. Again, the audacity of the Secretary of Defense to go out there and be like, listen, you motherfuckers reporting on the dead people here? Why don't you report on the statistics and the number ones that we have? Like Kyle just came out here and was like, oh, #1 this. We got he's playing a fucking video game. Oh, #1 record. I got the most kills, most time spent in the enemy area, most flags stolen, most ships sunk, most blood spilt. Fucking, okay, get out a couple times a week there, Kyle. Smell the fucking daisies there, Chief. You know what I mean? Come back to reality every now and again. Meet some human beings. Speak to some people. It'd be great for you. Actually, no, we don't want you. I'm lying. We don't want you.
Reduce this to just pure numbers. This is why this whole campaign is a good idea. The #1 justification to all of our foreign aid in the Middle East is to combat Iran and their proxies. That's what the justification has been.
I'd say it's just to fucking appease, Israel, but, who am I?
Since 1979.
Who am I?
30% of all of our foreign aid goes to the Middle East. Last year, we gave about 15 to 20 billion of our tax dollars to that region. For reference,
I
folks,
know, terrible. Like once we destabilize the region, it's how like atrocious of us to actually maybe send some money back into the area in the form of aid. You see what it says there? About 31% of U.S. aid is spent in the Middle East, while 25% is spent in Asia. I mean, God for fucking bid, we save a few kids, feed a few people, put a couple fucking clothes on the backs of some individuals, maybe build a fucking shanty or two. Terrible. Oh, fucking god awful of us. Could you believe it? Meanwhile, we've spent how many dollars? 2.3 billion. 2.3 billion, ladies and gentlemen, in 5 days. That could be a lot of fucking mouths fed there. A lot of shanties you could build with 2.3 billion. Just saying. Just saying. A lot of investigations. A lot of investigations you could hold with 2.3 billion if we wanted to start locking up these motherfuckers and tracking down these allegations in the Epstein files and really start fucking putting people in the limelight. That would go a long way in funding those maybe they could help Blunt Politics. We could send maybe a couple bucks of that to Blunt Politics, right? Maybe? No? Okay. All right, worth a try. Oh, speaking of which, right on time, Jenny Faye. Look at you go. Look at that. Like we fucking planned it. Like we planned it. It's the lives lost. The utter disregard for human life is appalling, says Jenny Faye. I don't want anyone to die just because of where they are from. That's how I know I'll never be a maggot. Amen to you. Of course. And again, as we continue to say, two things can be true at the same time. We can both recognize how horrendous a human being, how horrendous an individual the Ayatollah was, the plight of the Iranian people, the suffering, the oppression, right? The repression of the Iranian people. We can absolutely recognize that while also recognizing this isn't how our country is meant to act. This isn't how our country and the laws are written for us to act, okay? Not only that, but can we recognize that we're still being led by a maniacal fucking dictator here who doesn't have two brain cells to rub together? Not going to just like start pretending like all of a sudden now he's okay. Now he's a true leader. I know he's crazy everywhere else, but all of a sudden we're at war. Now we should probably listen to what he says. You know what I mean? Chuck Schumer. Anyway, just saying. All right. Next clip I wanted to get into. There's a few of these as well. Because let me see here. No, that's the next one. Wasn't there a couple of these that I wanted to put on there? All right, well, let's change direction. Let's go into some good news. I got so many clips here. Like, we could break it up a little bit, right? I mean, it's my show. I can do what I want anyway. So that's what we're doing. All right, well, let's talk about some of the primary election results here and talk about the voter turnout down in Texas in particular. And how that, again, goes right in line with what we've been speaking about as far as the enthusiasm or at least the determination of people to show up and vote blue, to vote against Republicans. Whether or not that's people voting for the Democrats or against Republicans, I'd say it's probably at this point more people voting against Republicans considering the Democrats' polling numbers individually. But anyway, we're going to take it however we can fucking get it. But people are upset. People are pissed off. People don't like the way their lives are going. People don't like what they're seeing, not only domestically, but also abroad, right? Everything's fucked at this point. And they're showing their displeasure at the voting poll. Like they're going out there and they're actively, whether it's special elections, whether it is different referendums like we saw in California, in other places, doesn't matter whether it's a deep red district, deep blue district, deep blue, purple district. Like people are showing up to the polls and they're showing up for Democrats. It's something that we've seen over and over again, time and time again, whether they won it outright or it was just a huge swing as far as not only momentum, but, percentages are concerned. But this is a CNN clip, highest ever, Enton on Texas primaries, massive political shifts. Obviously speaking about James Tallarico's win over Jasmine Crockett. I got to say, it doesn't seem like a smart move here. At all by Jasmine. That's not even to get into, some of the behavioral aspects as far as the way the campaign was run in that regard. But, it doesn't seem like she had to give up her seat. Now she lost this race. Now it's like she's kind of out in the wilderness, out in the cold without a fucking bucket, without a pail here, when we could have very well used her in her position. We could have very well kept her at her position in her seat, in her district, because of, how good she is as a fighter, because of this or that. I know everybody's got, problems with this, that, or the other thing. And that's, that's American politics. That's for us to discuss and that's for us to debate. Not everybody's perfect. But again, we could have very well used her in that position for a long time, or at least, as long a period as she had left. And again, now we're kind of we're in a little bit of a mumbo jumbo as far as that's concerned. But again, here's a little bit of some of the voter turnout, which is more along the lines of what this video is about, which is, again, showing the Republicans more specifically that people are still going to turn out. This is only going to get more and more against them, right? Continuing this fucking war isn't helping at all. So again, along these lines, I want to continue to highlight this, to continue to show that the momentum and the turnout is there, regardless if you're talking about Texas, Mississippi, Georgia, New Jersey, California. It doesn't matter where we point to. It's kind of been the through line here.
Just in from Texas, this is interesting. Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett conceded to James Tallarico in the Democratic Senate primary there. Notable because it was a hotly contested race and there were some questions about voting there, but she has now conceded, meaning he has a clear path all the way to November. Not so clear on the Republican side, where there's a runoff between Attorney General Ken Paxton and the incumbent Republican Senator John Cornyn. So we'll see over the next 3 months who wins there. With us now, CNN chief data analyst Harry Enton. But we're not focused on who's running. That might not be the most important thing here. The most important thing here might be who's voting.
Who is voting? And I would say the word to describe it for Democrats, tremendous turnout. I mean, woof. Texas Democratic.
You can see here shown on the screen, Texas Senate Democrat primary turnout. Old record was 2.2 million in 2008. Same time as presidential primary. The 2000s average 978,000. The 2026 highest ever, 2.3 million people, with 92% of the estimated vote in for 2026. So again, that's not even 100% of the vote yet, as far as that was calculated.
Senate primary turnout, the highest ever was this primary. We're already up to 2.3 million, and that's only with 92%.
And again, if I'm not mistaken, that is the same thing that we saw in the New York City, in the New York primary there with Zohran Mamdani. Didn't he receive the highest amount of votes there as well? Correct me in the chat if I'm wrong.
Estimated voting, that will climb ever higher. The 2000s average was less than 1 million. They've more than doubled the average turnout for Texas Senate Democratic primaries. The Democrats came out and voted. This beats the old record, which was 2.2 million. And that was in a presidential primary year between Obama and Clinton. And this beat it. Democrats.
Did somebody just go live? Where's everybody going? You guys don't like good news? You guys don't look like good news as far as voter turnout is concerned? What's happening?
Enthusiastic. As I said, the word to describe this is tremendous.
I can't even believe it beat 2008. People, if you can remember back that far, that was such an important race in Texas. There's so much focus, and there were still more people voting in this one than that one in 2008. How about as a share of the people who voted overall?
It's not just that this 2.3 million is such a large portion, the largest ever for a Texas Senate Democratic primary. It's that more people voted in the Democratic primary than the Republican primary. Look at this. Share of Texas midterm primary ballots. Look
and
at
again,
this.
just to remind everybody, we're talking about Texas here. Okay, we're talking about Texas. So you might be like, well, so what? More Dems voted in the Democratic primary than Republicans voted in the GOP primary. We're talking about Texas. Okay, Texas.
2000s average. If you look at the 2000s, on average, you see this: Republicans outvote Democrats. More people choose the Republican ballot than the Democratic ballot in midterm primaries by 60% to 40%. A margin.
Again, that's 20% in the average of the 2000s. Okay, that is, the average over that period of time is 20% in favor of the GOP as far as number of people casting votes in the separate primaries. Okay, now he goes on to 2026.
Too. But look so far, Democrats, more people are actually choosing the Democratic ballot. This is extremely unusual, 51% to 49%. And
not only is it unusual, but it should be a fucking major wake-up call to the GOP, major wake-up call to conservatives, which is, again, I bring up the other video that we referenced by Legal Eagle, which is, again, why we're seeing these little fucking moves behind the scenes, these the memos being leaked here, about these alleged executive orders that they want Donald Trump to enact to change all of these voting regulations, all of these voting rules, all of the voting processes, to make sure that they can combat against shit just like this. Because, again, like we said, this isn't new news. Okay, this is something we've seen for months now in special elections and elections all over the country. So it's not like they haven't had time, right? It's not like they're just seeing the signs now that they're running into a fucking blue wave as far as the midterms is concerned, okay? So that's why all of this scheming is being done behind the scenes. That's why all of these plans are in place. That's why I'm sure that's not the only memo that Legal Eagle talked about that's in fucking place right now, that's floating around the atmosphere as far as a plan to, again, trick, cheat, move, deny people access to, whatever it may be, the upcoming midterm elections, which is why we continue to talk about it, so we're not fucking sideswiped, so we're not blindsided when they try to engage and enact these fucking ploys or this executive order. We're not fucking like, oh shit, what the hell, we haven't heard of this. No, we're like, oh yep, we know exactly what's coming here. This is what they want to do. This is what they're going to try to do. Here's where they're going to try to do it, and this is how we can stop it.
There have actually been more of the Republican ballots estimated to be counted than Democrats, so this margin may
what
climb.
is with the fucking, what's with this bottom line here? What's going on, CNN? I mean, I understand the whole fucking MAGA thing and the takeover of the media, but what's with the gambling and the Kalshi prediction tracker on the bottom ticker here? Like, are we really doing this? We're going to start promoting all this gambling fucking bullshit? You can gamble on anything now. Am I going to take a fucking right step when I get out of bed, or a left step first? Right? Do I put my fucking undies on with my right leg or my left leg first? Like, people can bet on that shit now. Like, oh yeah, and not to mention, here's something else we could dive on from that. Here's a good fucking segue if I've ever seen one before. How about this? Talking about and speaking about how corrupt this government is. Let's just talk about the, $1 million or so that was made on the insider knowledge about the Iran strikes, about the war, and when it was going to happen, and how people, inside the government used that insider knowledge to make a good fucking chunk of change. Okay? If you want to talk about Kalshi, if you want to talk about these fucking poly market bullshit fucking places here, where you can bet on anything and everything, right? How many times are you going to blink in a minute? How many times is fucking this going to happen? And I like dumb fucking shit, right? Yeah, check this out. Check this out right here.
A number of punters have reportedly made about $1 million.
Punters, excuse me, let me translate. Punters being betters, okay? And let me translate from Boston. So punters being betters, betters being betters, right? People that bet on shit. Sorry, I had to break that down.
Dollars by correctly predicting when the United States would strike Iran at the weekend. Lillian is here to tell us more. Goodness me, Lillian, what do we know about these men?
Yeah, this is something that you might have missed with so much news coming out of the Middle East, but it's really, really interesting. About $529 million was reportedly traded on the platform Polymarket in bets on when the US strikes on Iran would occur.
$500 million. $500 million being traded on Polymarket, and I'm sure people had, I'm not going to say legitimate bets, but I'm sure it was people betting on this without insider information, let's just say. So not the entirety of that, I'm sure, is the corrupt insider trading, insider knowledge type of aspects. But again, as far as the account that they'll bring up specifically, this MAGA, my man, or whatever the fuck it is, that made an account literally 13 seconds before the bomb dropped, bet a couple $100,000, made a couple million, and fucking scooted. Like, yeah, like, geez, I wonder who could have done that. I wonder if it was somebody with insider knowledge or not. Just somebody really fucking lucky. Yeah, I'm sure.
Now, one firm called Bubble Wraps, which analyzes suspicious behavior on the crypto market, identified 6 accounts in particular which correctly predicted the timing of the strikes made
6 fucking different accounts. So again, you might be like, wow, I mean, of course, out of the many people that bet, but no, 6 people that got the timing pretty much exactly fucking right. Okay. We're not talking about like within the week, the month, the year. No, they're talking about like within the second here.
About $1 million from those bets. Now, these were all accounts which were funded, generally speaking, in the 24 hours leading up to.
Right, and that's another shady thing in this. So it's not like, long time users of the fucking platform, which you can look, okay, they've made other bets, about other things and in other areas, whatever the fuck, right? No, these were accounts made that day. These were the only bets that they made. They got the money and they were fucking never heard from again. You know what I mean? So again, just to show you the ongoing corruption by this government, whether it's NFTs, whether it's crypto, whether it's cologne, whether it's watches, whether it's sneakers, whatever it is, they're going to fucking rob you blind if they get the chance. And that's exactly what they continue to do here.
The strikes,
Again, if I'm not mistaken, isn't it Don Jr.? Hold on, let me see here. Doesn't Don Jr. have a stake in Polymarket? Don Jr. Let's see here. Don Jr.'s VC firm on bets on Polymarket. Let me see this. Is this what I'm talking about here? Throw that on the screen. Scoop. Says Axios, Donald Trump Jr.'s VC firm bets on Polymarket. I knew it. The world's largest prediction market has received an investment from Donald Trump Jr.'s venture capital fund, Axios has learned exclusively. The new form of betting faces little legal risk under Trump 2.0, even as pro sports leagues like the NFL raise alarms. 1789 Capital, which we've talked about before, which Donald Trump Jr. joins last year as a partner, invested double-digit millions of dollars into Polymarket, which recently was valued at north of $1 billion by the founders. Okay, so again, are we going to sit here and say that we don't see the connection between the suspicious activity, the suspicious bets on Polymarket, and the insider knowledge that Donald Trump Jr. absolutely had the ability to get? Are we going to we're going to breeze over that fact, are we? Okay. Yeah. All right. Okay.
They had pretty much only placed bets on February the 28th, being the date of the strikes, and they selected yes to those bets just hours before the strikes. So that's prompted concerns about insider trading. But I also wanted to tell you a little bit more about what Polymarket is, because some of our listeners might not actually know.
No, well, I don't. I mean, I just think it's bleak that you can bet on this, and that B, you would be, and trying to time the market to get an insider trading benefit.
Yeah, it's a pretty interesting kind of...
Well, I mean, it's a money-making scheme. I mean, people are going to try anything and everything, especially with the economy, especially with society being what it is today. I mean, I don't think it takes
It's actually banned.
I don't think it takes an expert to see that if you can make money off something, people, if there's an option to gamble, people are going to fucking gamble. Let's just say, as a gambler myself, as somebody that loves to gamble responsibly. Of course, responsibly, of course. You know what I mean? It doesn't take too much, doesn't take a lot to see it. But even I am not touching these fucking things, right? Even this is a bridge too far, so to speak, in my book. It's just betting on this type of shit. It seems filthy, it seems dirty, it seems wrong, it seems like it's easily manipulated. So why the hell would you risk it?
Or blocked in Australia at the moment because the Media and Communications Authority found that it was essentially a betting platform but wasn't licensed as such.
Alien boy, what is happening in the chat tonight? You guys are fucking killing me. Brian, I want to gross everyone out. $10 for a real close-up view of Trump's rash. Oh, man. Does that mean I have to send it back if I don't? I don't want to lose everybody in the stream, right? I'm trying to keep some viewers in here. People are already leaving just from the question, for Christ's sakes. I can't do that. I'll send it back. I'll send it back. I don't feel like losing my dinner. I ate not long before I came on stream, so at some point maybe, but not right this second. But I do appreciate the contribution, Alien Boy. I do. Yeah, he's fucking psychotic, sadistic bastard. I want to gross everybody out, he says. And then he got Jim. See what you started here? See what you fucking started? Now Jim's piling on. I don't know, you sickos. We'll have to wait. Let me digest a little bit. Let me digest a little bit more before we go diving into that fucking realm, okay? For crying out loud.
What Polymarket essentially allows you to do is basically bet on literally anything. So instead of just the AFL...
Yeah, all right, so we don't need the breakdown. We understand what Polymarket is. I just wanted to make it clear based off of the bottom ticker here, which is pretty fucking disgusting in my view. They got Donald Trump Jr.'s company on the bottom track. Well, excuse me, it's not Polymarket, it's Kalshi, which is basically the same type of thing. So my mistake, it's not the same thing on that regard. I'm sure it won't be long until they have a Polymarket one. You can definitely bet that one. All right, we move on though. Which one am I on here? We got this one. Dude, this is what I wanted to talk about as well. I want to give congratulations, obviously, to friend of the show, Major Richard Ojeda, for his win in the Democratic primary in North Carolina's 9th congressional district. I mean, the guy worked his ass off. I can think of no better person to represent the Democrats in that area to go against the incumbent Richard Hudson. Again, shout out to the Major. Big congratulations, and hopefully we can continue the momentum, continue the support for his campaign, and see him wipe Richard Hudson off the map. That would be fantastic. He deserves it. He spent 24 years, I believe. Ojeda, a veteran who served 24 years in the U.S. Army with tours in Iraq, Afghanistan, and Haiti. Also spent 15 years at Fort Bragg, previously served in the state Senate. His platform emphasizes supporting veterans, protecting education, investing in North Carolina, strengthening Medicare and Medicaid, raising wages, repealing right-to-work laws, and protecting Social Security. So, again, you saw here he got a pretty substantial amount of the primary vote here with 41%. Next one in the race was at 26%. So pretty overwhelming victory for Major as well. 18,000 total votes, 18,400 to the next best there was 11,700. Wow. That's the number of votes Donald Trump was looking for, wasn't it? 11,780. Wasn't it one of those? It's close to the number Donald Trump was looking for in the 2020 election there. But anyway, shout out to Richard, shout out to Major. A big victory for him in the primary. And again, I want to make sure that we are supporting and uplifting all of our friends and fellow creators here, especially when they, receive the accolades and accomplish things like this. So again, he'll face off with incumbent Richard Hudson for the U.S. House seat, in which we will be supporting, obviously, that campaign. So shout out to him. Big ups. All right, let's dive on to a little bit more of the nonsense that's been taking place in and around what was I looking at here? Oh, yeah, this is what I wanted to check out. This is a little montage. And again, Abby Phillips show, absolutely fucking useless. Every now and again, they put together a good montage, a good clip that we can use. And this is one of those instances in which CNN put together a montage of conflicting messages from Republicans and the administration officials on whether or not we're actually in a war, as something we've talked about before, where they totally shot themselves in the foot. Pete Hegseth has done it repeatedly. Mark Wayne Mullen has done it repeatedly. A bunch of others have done it repeatedly. And now they're trying to have to walk back that rhetoric, having to walk back the war talk and call it a special operation or whatever the fuck they want to call it now. But here's a little montage that Abby Phillips and CNN put together of the conflicting stories, the conflicting rhetoric that we're hearing, not only from Republicans, but Pete Hegseth and the rest of these assholes. Check this out.
And we may have casualties. That often happens in war.
I don't know if this is technically a war.
We didn't start this war, but under President Trump, we are finishing it.
This isn't a war. We haven't declared war.
The Secretary of Defense, who calls himself the Secretary of War, said today this is a war.
We set the terms of this war from start to finish.
Nobody should classify this as war. It is combat operations.
War is hell and always will be.
Strategic strikes are not war.
So again, you can see the conflicting rhetoric there and the reason that they're having so much trouble reeling this back in. And that goes along the lines of this one, too, because Mark Wayne Mullen fucked up in real time. He actually was called out in real time, too, here by Manu Raju and a few other reporters. I kind of give a lot of respect to the female reporter here for being like, man, you just fucking said it, dude. Like, what are you talking about? Manu pushes back and said, no, you just kind of referenced it, but she wasn't going to let him get away with it. Here's Mark Wayne Mullen, quite literally in the beginning of his sentence, referencing war, talking about how it's war. They've talked about how war is hell and how warriors, and this war is going to be started by this person, but going to be ended by this person. We've just heard it, right? So here's Mark Wayne Mullen quite literally getting caught in the act. And again, props out to the female reporter here, the female journalist, who's like, no, dude, you just fucking said it. What are you talking about here?
Are there measures being taken not to eliminate other possible alternatives to leadership?
This is war, and we're taking out the threat.
First thing he says, this is war, and we're taking out the threat. Quite literally the first thing he says out of his mouth.
And if you're part of the threat, then you're a target. You know, what we'd call not all the arrows, but going after the archers.
You'll concede this is war. You'll concede this is war.
So the question by Manu Raju is, you'll concede this is war, right? And then you can see the look on Mark Wayne Mullen's face, and he's like, shit.
We haven't declared war.
We haven't declared war. No, we didn't declare war. Who declared war? I didn't say war. You said war. I didn't say war. Who said war? I didn't fucking say war. The memo said that this morning. I couldn't say war. So it could have been me who said war. I didn't say war.
But we haven't.
War, Secretary Hegseth.
We haven't declared.
Just now you said.
And then this female reporter just above my head, I'm not sure who she is. I wish I could give her credit where credit is due, because she's like, no, dude, you just fucking said it, you tool bag. Like, I'm sorry. I don't know how the steroids affect your memory there, Chief, but we just heard you say it. It's on tape. You see this microphone I got in front of me, the recording device we're all fucking holding here? Yeah. Well, we can play that back if you want. He's like, well, war? Well, no, I didn't say war. I didn't say war. It's an operation. Operation.
They've called it war. What I was saying, okay, well, that was a misspoke. What I was saying.
That was a misspoke. That must have been a misspoke. because that's how intelligent people talk all the time. Yeah, that's the way. It must have been a misspoke. What an asshole. And again, props to this woman for being like, nah, dude, no fucking, you ain't getting away with that. You ain't getting away with that.
Declared war on us, but war is ugly. It always has been ugly. But we're at a.
I mean, he's gonna rub the skin off his hands. He rubs them together any harder. We're in I know it's a war, but people are dying. It's not a war. I just said war. I know it's shit. I shouldn't have said it again. Fuck. It's like they don't know what to do. It's like they were all calling it a war, but a memo went out being like, you can't call it a war. We'll be screwed legally. We're going to be liable in fucking criminal court after this. We're going to be held liable for war crimes, for Christ's sakes. You guys keep calling it a war out there. And now they're like, they've been turned into fucking, Bugs Bunny all of a sudden. Sorry, that's Porky Pig. I don't know. I'm mixing up my cartoons. Fuck.
Out a regime that's been trying to attack us for quite some time.
But you're not conceding this is war.
We have declared war. So
that's the problem, dickhead. That's the fucking issue. And again, there was actually some idiot on the floor of Congress that was dumb enough to be like, well, I know, the articles in the Constitution do technically give all the powers to Congress, but we've already fucking gone to war at this point. We're already hit the go button at this point. Do we really want to be debating this? And it's like, you stupid son of a bitch. I think it was Jamie Raskin, if I'm not mistaken, that pointed it out here. Let me see if I can find that real quick. Because I think it was Jamie Raskin who had it. If I can't find it, then we don't have to dive through all of this shit. Let me see. No, it'll take me a minute to find it. But I'm pretty sure it was Jamie Raskin who was like, there was actually this moron who actually told us that we were right and used that as his justification. Like, how fucking stupid can you be? It was actually pretty good. Let me see. I'm scrolling. No, I don't think I'll find it. All right, my apologies. I don't mean to waste your time. All right, dive back into this clip.
Haven't declared war, then I don't see that. The president hasn't asked us to declare war yet, but they have.
That's the problem. The president hasn't asked us. I mean, what do you expect from us? We have the power. He hasn't asked us to. He's got to ask us to. We have to be. We need permission at this point. Like, oh, these fucking losers. Every single one of them wants to act like a tough guy, and then they come out in front of the cameras and they're like, derp, 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 like a seal. Derp, 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 derp. It's like, okay, what the fuck? What the fuck?
War on us. We're just simply fighting the threat that's been at our door for 47 years. I've already answered the question.
That ask could be coming. An ask from.
All right, so we don't have to dive into that anymore. But all right, so just to kind of detail, obviously, some of the ongoing destruction, here's the Telegraph, which is a typically right-leaning publication as far as I'm concerned. I don't know what their actual media rating is, the media bias is on this one, but as far as I'm concerned, a typically right-leaning publication who is now accurately depicting some of the, horrors that we're seeing in and around Iran, some of the horrors that we're seeing in the region. But again, to be using, as Pete Hegseth has fucking come out and said, 1,500 pound, 2,000 pound bombs, basically as we were calling out Israel for doing the same thing inside of a heavily populated area such as Gaza, is pretty sickening to see. But this is the Telegraph. Tehran in an apocalypse of hospitals in flames and children buried beneath rubble. Highways choke with those fleeing as others shelter with nowhere left to run. And I don't have a subscription, but again, I think the picture and the headline does enough heavy lifting in this aspect, where you can get an idea of the kind of the chaos, confusion, and atrocities. Again, this says down below the picture that 800 people. That's now well over 1,000 that we've seen. And again, there's many videos that we could point to showing some of the destruction that we've seen here. Here's one of them.
What?
Again, as you can see, quite clearly a heavy populated area. Quite clearly a heavy munition used.
از اینجا میاد اینجا.
Fucking hell, man. Craziness. Absolute fucking crazy. And this is a couple here. Here's this was posted by Murtaza Hussein here. This says apocalyptic images from central Tehran. There's another video coming out here. Look at that shit. I mean, I don't know. Did it coincide with a fucking sandstorm, or is that just fucking the smoke? Just not being able to lift from the area. That's an eerie scene right there. He's alive? He's alive.
بشین بلند نشو شاید زخمی شده باشه بشین شاید استخوان شکسته‌ای داشته باشه بشین الان نیروی امدادی‌ها رسیدن الان میان بیا گل بده بیا الان
Again, these people are fucking what? Going to and from work, going to from, picking their kids up from school, going to and from the market. Like these aren't the combatants, right? These aren't the fucking combatants. It's crazy because, again, lots of things can be true at the same time. We can recognize a lot of things. We can recognize things in our own government. We can recognize things from the Iranian government. We can recognize the plight of innocent fucking people that had absolutely no part in this, had no say in what the regime did or said, the threats made or posed, the fucking, the allied ships that they had to different, factions in different regions. They just want to live their fucking lives. You know what I mean? They just want to have a life, have a job, pay for the food, pay for the home, have kids, have the kids go to school, have the kids grow up, have kids. Like, you know what I mean? It's it's crazy that we haven't learned our lessons still, considering what we've gone through in the, as a human race, as far as warfare, the lack of results from warfare, what it's led to in the future. You know what I mean? It's unbelievable. We keep bashing our heads against the wall and wondering why we come out the other side with fucking CTE and concussions and shit.
آسیب دیدن همه
زن و بچه تو کجان؟ تو آمبولانس هن؟
یا حسین
So again, just some footage coming out of Tehran, in central Tehran there. There was another one that I had here. This is from Ryan Rosbiani, just in Tehran under massive strikes reportedly by B-2 bombers. Watch with audio. It is horrific. Let's see if we can play that. Oh, you know what? My apologies. Again, makes a real difference, Bri. I don't know why I keep doing this on the show. Makes a real difference if you put it on the screen for people to see. My apologies. I'm assuming nervous laughter, right? Assuming that's what that is. I don't know why. I don't know. It's just obviously a strange reaction to what's taking place in front of your eyes. But again, I'm sure everybody reacts differently in certain circumstances. Just more footage coming out of there. Stop you. And then kind of rounding out today's show, we do have a few clips here of updates from Ukraine as well. I know it's probably been a couple minutes before we've done an update, since we've done an update, I should say, because of all of the ongoing atrocities being committed by our own country that we needed to cover here. But I want to make sure that we're doing, giving it the due, intelligence that it needs to be, the due research that needs to be given on all of this So I want to make sure that we're talking about, obviously, all of the gains being made right now, all of the successes that Ukraine is seeing right now, how the tide is seemingly turning in a few different areas on the front lines for the Ukrainian, for the betterment of the Ukrainians. And I want to make sure that's not lost in translation. I want to make sure we continue to highlight that as we continue to get our Help 99 campaign done. I think the last time I checked, we were right about 81%. Let me see, where are we at right here? Yep, 81%, guys. So as we dive into a little bit about Ukraine, I just want to make sure that we are highlighting our campaign here with NAFO, Help 99, the 69 Sniffing Brigade, trying to get a truck, trying to get a pickup truck so that we can help save lives so they don't have to be walking around the battlefield to the 72nd Separate Mechanized Brigade over in Ukraine. We have raised over 16,600 euros so far, which just blows my goddamn mind. So again, really, really appreciative of everybody that's made that possible, whether or not it's by sharing that out or contributing yourself directly. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Appreciate it. Let's get us there. Let's get us the end of the goal. Let's get us to the 100% mark. And boy, is that going to feel good when we get to send over that vehicle. So appreciate you guys. All right, let's dive into a little bit of this. We got 2 videos to look at. Here's one by The Sun, just kind of pointing out the fact that Ukraine has reclaimed some 400 square kilometers, pointing out the impact still of the ongoing problems caused by the Starlink blackout, and basically the successes in the areas that we've been talking about in the Zaporizhia region, the different strikes in Donetsk. Obviously, we'll be looking at one of these. What's the other video I wanted to talk about here? I think it's Ukraine Matters. It's Ukraine Matters here that I want to dive into as well. There's obviously there was a strike on, I'm forgetting what port now. Excuse me, I'm forgetting the port, but there was also a strike on one of the major ports on an oil refinery as well. So we'll be diving into all of that. I forgot which port it was at. My apologies. There's a lot to cover. There's a lot to remember. Forgive me. I'm not a goddamn elephant, all right? All right, let's dive into this one. I appreciate you guys. And again, this is the Battle Plans Exposed show. I think it's a little series that they got going on here on The Sun. Guy does a pretty good job at talking about and breaking down the front lines, so I give him the opportunity now and again. All right, let's dive into it. Hit that thumbs up. Slava Ukraine.
Putin's imperialist dreams aren't just a fantasy, they're becoming a logistical nightmare. What's fascinating here from a military intelligence perspective is the Starlink factor. The Ukrainians coming together and taking what is a very complex plan and executing it with almost surgical precision.
Now it's bugging me. Do you guys know in the chat, where was the port? Did you guys already tell me in the chat? I'm scrolling the chat. Where was that, the big fucking huge oil strike there with the big ball of flame that I'm talking about? Why can't I remember?
Russia's conventional infantry is so degraded, they're using their scalpel.
Oh, Novorossiysk. Thank you so much. Novorossiysk. That's what it was. Who just said that? Manchita. Thank you, Manchita. Appreciate that. That was close enough. That was close enough for me to get it. I believe it was Novorossiysk. So I appreciate you. Thank you so much. There's always somebody smarter than me in the chat. That's why I love you guys. That's why I fucking love you guys.
As President Zelensky warns that World War III has already begun, Ukrainian strikes
Andrew says, which one? Novorossiysk. So let's do this. Fuck it. We got the time to do it. It's my show. I can do it whenever I want to. Let's do, should we go to Deep State? We'll just go to Deep State. Deep State map. We'll type in, I don't know if I'm going to spell it right, Novorossiysk. Oh, fuck. It's all in Ukrainian. That's not going to help. Did I not spell it right? What's the deal? Novorossiysk. Okay. What's the deal? Did I spell it wrong? Or is it just not accepting my Ukrainian? All right, we're going here. All right, here we go. That was easy enough. So just to show you on the map where Novorossiysk is, we're going down here. Sorry, it's all written in Ukrainian. I forgot to change it over to English before I zoomed in. But right over here near Limansk, Veldomorivka. So here's Novorossiysk. Just to let everybody know. All right, back to the video. My apologies. I like taking those sidetracks. I like bringing up the mat. It's easy. It's good to show you exactly where we're talking about. A lot of these videos don't really buckle down into the aspects and the exact regions. So I like to make it known exactly what we're talking about. I do appreciate you guys. All right, let's dive into it.
Hitting Putin deeper and faster, both on the battlefield and inside Russian territory. I'm Philip Ingram, and this is Battle Plans Exposed. Since the start,
I think I was spelling it the English way.
Forces have managed to seize just 1.4% of Ukrainian territory, according to the Blackbird Group. We've passed the 4-year milestone of this invasion, but the question remains, what actually is happening on the ground? Are Putin's imperialist dreams a total fantasy? Or can he sustain a war where his forces are suffering nearly 40,000 casualties every single month? Join me as we decode the signals and indicators of the battlefield in this critical year. But first, let's take a look at some of the clips from the front line. So in our first video, we have Ukrainian assault troops use an improvised explosive device to blow up a Russian stronghold near Hulyapol. This is a big device, and you can see the explosion coming out of all of the entrances and exits to the underground bunker. And this is happening in an area where we're seeing active counterattacks by the Ukrainians against the Russians. So this is dealing with Russian defenses. Now, look at this. This is the Ratal H, a Ukrainian-made ground robot that is fundamentally changing the drone war. What you're seeing isn't just a logistics mule, it's a mobile, unmanned launch point. In the last year, Russian electronic warfare, jamming and signal spoofing has become incredibly dense. But to bypass this, Ukraine is now deploying FPV drones tethered by fiber optic cables. Think of it as a digital leash. Because the command signal travels through a physical glass fiber thinner than a human hair instead of through the air, it is 100% jam-proof. Russian electronic warfare systems can scream as loud as they want on every frequency, but they cannot touch this connection. So in this third clip, what you're seeing here is the aftermath of a precision strike by Ukrainian long-range SBU drones. This is the Kalyenko oil pumping station in Tartarstan. And to put this into perspective, it is over 1,200 kilometers. That's 750 miles.
So again, that's even above the Novorossiysk strike there.
From the Ukrainian border. Ukraine has bypassed some of the most sophisticated air defense networks in the world to hit the industrial heart of Russia.
Oh, you're welcome, Jonathan. You're welcome, buddy. Honestly, it's an honor and a pleasure to be able to do so, and it's something that I'm very passionate about. Again, anybody that's watched the show long enough knows, and again, anybody that can see anything happen in the background probably understands where I stand on this fight. Again, having made the trip, having put my feet directly on Ukrainian soil during this full-scale invasion, having shaken hands with the frontline troops, having shaken hands with the special forces, with the defense contractors, with the military contractors themselves, looking them straight in the face. This is something that I'm going to be involved in till the end and then some. So I'm not going anywhere. Again, I try to give it as much attention as we could possibly give it, while also, keeping everybody aware and up to speed on things that are happening, obviously, inside of the United States as well. So hopefully I do a good job of that. I know there's some other great creators out there that focus solely on that, but again, I try to, in all regards, try to keep us focused and informed on as much stuff as possible. So I know I don't just talk about this, but again, all of it is important to me.
The scale of the fire is immense. And we can confirm that 2 massive storage tanks, each with a capacity of over 50,000 cubic meters.
This is what Kyle Shitsby should be boom, baby, booming, right? Like, if he was going to be jumping out of his seat for anything and excited for anything, like, it should be this shit. Like, it should be fucking watching these oil refineries in Russia burn to the fucking ground, okay? That's what it should be doing. Like, all of the fucking Russian military bases that are now fucking black scars on the earth, that's what he should be cheering like a seal for. Like, not what he's doing right now. Like, not what he's fucking cheering for right now. That's for goddamn sure.
Initial reports lowball the damage, but the sheer volume of fuel burning here suggests that a catastrophic failure of the station's containment systems has occurred. Why does this matter? Kalyenko is the heart of the Dobrizhia pipeline, the friendship line. It's where crude from Western Siberia and the Volga region is blended before being pumped west. By hitting this hub, Ukraine isn't just burning oil. They're choking the pressure system.
And if I'm not mistaken, is that the same one that the United States had told Ukraine previously not to strike? I could be mistaken, but there was one strike recently on an oil refinery or an oil plant or pumping station or something alike, in which the United States had previously asked the Ukrainians not to strike, and the Ukrainians were like, yeah, fucking piss off, pal. Fucking, what are you talking about? We're going to strike anything and everything we possibly can. Shut the fuck up. And I don't blame them for doing so. I also believed that this is the one that it was a Financial Times report, if I'm not mistaken. Financial Times, let me see. Give me a second. Financial Times, EU pipeline. See if that brings it up. So if I'm not mistaken, yeah, this was a couple days ago, right? This was the EU urges Ukraine to allow access to pipeline carrying Russian oil, right? So I'm not sure. I didn't quite get into the article, but I'm not sure. I would assume that it's dealing with that same exact one, if not one of the ones that we're talking about on the screen here. But again, for the EU to be like already scared and nervous, because of what Donald Trump has undertaken, and already urging Ukraine to allow access to the pipeline carrying Russian oil, like again, whether that's got any truth to it, I didn't dive into it. So again, I'm just going by the headline here. But again, wouldn't be a good thing to see that we're turning on a dime just like that as far as the use of Russian oil is concerned. That would be disturbing. But I did see that reported. Oh my goodness. Thank you, Nola. Holy sugar pie, honey bunch. Appreciate that. Please put towards your Ukraine fund. Thank you. Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing. I will absolutely do so, and I will put it in your name. That's because you're amazing, and you deserve it. All right. Thank you so much, Nola. Appreciate that.
Towards Europe. This strike has immediate geopolitical consequences. It essentially severs the energy link to Hungary and Slovakia, countries that have been recently critical of Kyiv. It's a clear
All right,
message.
so I know he's a little bit dry. I can deal with him sometimes, but I feel like maybe it's not the best for you guys. So why don't we dive into for the last couple minutes here? And I think we did a pretty good job of getting through everything. I'm not going to lie. Did a pretty good job of getting through. We did the poly markets, right? We did the war tracker. I think we did a good job. All right, let's dive onto this one. And again, this is just a few more updates. It says Ukraine makes historic gains against all odds. And this is just a more, a detailed depiction of some of the ongoing incursions, some of the ongoing offensives seen in, different remote parts of the front, whether it be in the southeastern region, whether it be in Zaporizhia, Donetsk. So again, let's dive into a little bit of this. And this is Ukraine Matters. Yorgi from Ukraine Matters. Appreciate you, Yorgi. Slava Ukraine, brother. Appreciate you, man.
Hey there, Georgie here with Ukraine Matters. It really pleasures me a lot that in the last couple of weeks
Hey, keep it to yourself. This is a family show. It's a family show here.
Was able to deliver some really great news coming from Ukrainian front lines, and today is no exception. We just had a frontline update recently, but already since then we got even more information, and it's more great news. Firstly, a little bit about calculations. We talked about that over the last week for Russia, the advances that they were achieving were quite pitiful. They were able to capture only 12 square kilometers per week, which equal to about 2 square kilometers per day.
So again, this is just depicting the calculations that we went through on how long it took the Russians to gain the territory, and basically the overall, who's winning and who's losing as far as overall territory gained, as far as that's concerned.
And which was the lowest tempo of advances since 2024. It is over 2-year lowest. But now we're having a completely different perspective altogether. The freshest data last week is stating that Ukraine was able to regain a net 16 square kilometers of territory. This is obviously a fantastic turnaround where Ukraine suddenly is regaining more ground than it's losing. And there is an important caveat that we do need to put here, that current operations, a lot of this is being hidden. So actually, we don't report everything that is happening on the front line and how much Ukraine is advancing. And only when we get new influx of information like this video over here, that's when we can report it. That is one thing. And second thing, that right now it is a bit of a lull, and Russians are trying to recoup their forces. They're trying to regroup. That is well known. So
excuse me, I'm looking for a video in the background that has something to do with the oil refinery strike and the strike in Novorossiysk. And I know for a goddamn fact it should be in my fucking, my history and things that I've watched. But for some reason, just doesn't want to be there.
Ukrainians overall are gaining ground. They are pushing Russians back, but there are things that potentially can still move it into the Russian way. So don't get too hung up on these numbers just yet. Just celebrate them for what it is right now. Russia getting their ass handed to them. And I think the best one who describes it right now is Sergei Flash, because he understands this very well. And he says that right now there's a lot of things that are happening on the front lines that is going really well for Ukrainian armed forces. There are things that he just cannot talk about, because Russia is waging propaganda war. Russia wants to have this perspective in the media and in everyone's understanding that they are one-sidedly advancing and Ukraine is just collapsing non-stop. Yet whenever it's being reported by the Ukrainian officials, the Russians are instantly reacting. They don't react that much if it's like, some OSINT analysts or that are describing it. It's more about whether it makes the news and media and makes it on the Putin's desk.
Sorry, I don't mean to leave you guys like that. I'm so fucking confused on where that video went. Now I'm actually looking at the kid's page that I saw it on, and it's not even there anymore. Did it get taken down? Am I being punked? Am I being fucking punked? But he goes on here to show the map in just a second and a little bit more of the the activity on the front line. So bear with me.
And that's when the response is happening, because so far the response has not been really happening. I gotta say, I thought Russians were a little bit smarter. I take it back. I really, really gave them the benefit of the doubt, because in my last video, I talked about the fact that, Russians have been counterattacking, that Russians have been actually going against the Ukrainian offensive. So I thought, well, that was expected. Ukrainians have regrouped, and then Russians apparently is now finally attacking on the main axis of attacks of Ukrainian armed forces, which is going from north to south. That was all wrong. That there are some fighting back from Russians, of course, but the main attacks that Russia is conducting is still towards the east. It's just because Ukraine is attacking from a lot of different directions. The counterattacks that were mentioned were actually the ones on the east.
Tiff sent it to me. Thank you, Tiff. Let me see if I can find that one. That's the one. Well, I don't know. I don't know why it's so why that happens to me. I feel like that happens to me more than anybody else. But let me see if I can find that. Let me see if I go back. Give me a second here. Let's see. That's in flame. No, let's go to the videos. There was a command destroying that one. Green Friday, series of attacks. Splitting Tehran. It's a lot of the Tehran stuff, obviously. Moment strike, winning decisively. I got to go back a little ways. Let's see here. That's not it. That's not it. Crying out loud. Will attack on Russia help the Iranian campaign? Nope, that's not it either. That's the Strait of Hormuz. That's not it either. Christ almighty. Oh, here it is. Here it is.
Ukrainian drone struck a major oil terminal, leaving fires in the southern Russian port city of Novorossiysk overnight on March 2, Telegram news channel Astra reported. The Sheskery's oil terminal in the port of Novorossiysk was struck, according to an analysis of eyewitness footage conducted by the outlet. According to the Russian Telegram channel Shot, dozens of powerful explosions were heard in the city.
Dozens.
It is noted that unmanned boats are also attacking Novorossiysk from the sea. A fire was reported to have broken out in one of the areas as a result of the attacks.
See, this is where you give a boom, baby. That's where you give a boom, baby.
The Exile Nova Plus Telegram channel reports that a major fire broke out at an oil terminal in a local port as a result of the strike. Ukrainian drones previously struck the oil terminal on November 14, sparking a large fire, Ukraine's security service told following initial media reports and claims by local authorities. The site is a major oil export terminal that serves as the endpoint.
Let's see, there's a couple more videos here. Here's the drone. Scheiße.
Вот это да. Это после... О, опять взрыв.
You can see a pretty good fire cooking there, too.
Ничего себе, какие клубы дыма. Вот это да.
I think she's saying, I wonder if that will heat my house because I'm freezing.
Oh, попал. Все, в одну точку.
And bang. Oh, they must be a good distance away, huh? So again, and you can see here, this is a good example of why the Russians want to crack down on Telegram, right? This is a good example. These are all Russians here being like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Putting it on these Russian Telegram channels. Like, and basically all the Ukrainians have to do is go on these Telegram channels and be like, yep. Not that they didn't have confirmation anyway. I'm sure they had drones in the area kind of watching this type of thing. But if they didn't, they could always go to Telegram and count on the good old, the Russians out there to fucking to make sure that they have all the evidence they need, all of the reports they need, all the confirmation they need right there in video evidence. Just be like, yep, well, no, on target. We hit the target as expected. We did the confirmed amount of damage. We did like they just you can see why they want to now and why they're trying to get everybody to use that Max bullshit app right there. But again, always good to see the Ukrainians striking back. And again, there was some different aspects. We always run out of time, and we can dive into this a little bit more in tomorrow's show as well, which is always good. As far as the Ukrainians pushing back and taking back territory. So again, it's always good to see. It's always good to highlight. And again, hopefully hopefully it's something we see continue. So momentum right now in this battle, hopefully if we can see it continue, will be, very huge. Will be a big momentum swing. Again, when we see the weather change, when we see the ground thaw and harden up and more, more armor can be used, right? We can get into different areas that are probably, out of commission right now because of the, the sogginess of the ground. You can't drive a vehicle over it. You can't drive armor over it, whatever it may be, fog lifting, the days getting longer as we talk about. So more action will be able to be undertaken. You'll see more people involved. And again, if we could already have the momentum going into that time, going into the spring and summer offensive areas, times, then that will be a huge benefit. That will be a huge boost to the Ukrainian military going into that period of time where, you're not on the back foot. You're not on the defensive in all of the areas you once were, and you're kicking ass and taking names in these areas. And then you can really put your foot on the gas when the days get longer, when the weather gets better, again, when the ground thaws, and hopefully the momentum will not only continue, but continue to grow as well up and down the front line. So, all right, let's get into thanking some fabulous individuals. Happy birthday again, Nick. Happy birthday again, Bethany. Thank you guys so much for spending time here with me. It means a lot. It really does. I know a lot of people say it on their channels, but I really mean it. The rest of them don't. I'm the only one that means it. So let's get into thanking some people. On Venmo and over here on YouTube's. I do appreciate you guys. You guys are so kind to me. You really are. Let's see who we can start thanking over here. Jenny Faye, thank you so much for the 10. She says, you always do a great job. Thanks for everything you do. The Bostonian attitude is what we live for. Hugs right back to you, Jenny Faye. Thank you so much. I hope you're well. Let us know if you need anything. I hope you're covering well still. Thank you so much to everybody that's contributed over the last couple of days as well. And Donna B, thank you, Donna B, for your contributions. Keep up the great work, she says. Thank you so much for that. Very much appreciated. And then, like I said, I like to continue to thank people for the last couple of days as well. Roxanne, Thomas, and Victoria, Barbara, thank you so much. Christopher, thank you so much. Suzanne, thank you. Yakov, thank you. Mike, Roger, Moms, James, Nancy, Brian, V, Ricky. Again, all of these people that contribute. Peter, thank you so much. Mark, thank you so much. You guys have just been amazing and continue to be amazing. What else? Thank you to everybody over here on the YouTube as well. Let's get into here. First on the list today, Becky. What's going on, Becky? Thank you so much for the 10. I really do appreciate that. What is that? What's the sweatshirt? I'm trying to get a read on where you're from. Does it say Memphis? Is that a Memphis? I'm guessing on your hubby or your significant other there. I'm going Memphis. Looks like a Memphis blue. Let me know if I'm right or wrong. That's just my guess. Thank you, Olga, as well, for the 10. Thank you so much for your contributions. Very much appreciate that. Thank you, JD, for the 13. Happiest of birthdays to both Nick and Bethany. I concur on that one. Thank you, Jonathan. I'll DM Masha to see if I can help. That's amazing. That's fucking amazing. That's what we're talking about, all right? That's what community's for. And in case you joined late, Marsha7107 in the chat. Is having a procedure again. It's going to be on 3/12. She needs some support. She needs somebody, again, in the area that can maybe help with any number of things. Again, it's in Batavia, if I'm saying that right, Illinois. So, again, anybody in the area, Jonathan, thank you so much. Maybe I'm just saying just in case it doesn't work out, all the options available would be great. So, Jonathan, much appreciated for you stepping up. And, again, anybody in the area that may be able to lend a helping hand or figure out a solution for that would be greatly appreciated. Marsha, we wish you all the best, not only in life in general, but also with your surgery and finding out, again, some help in the community. So, Marsha, we appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. And, again, love and good vibes being sent your way. So thank you, Jonathan. Great to see. Great to see. Thank you, Greg, as well. Confirm registration via postcard after USPS was granted immunity for not delivering the mail, right? I hate these motherfuckers so much. Greg is 100% right. We talked about the changes in rules about like the dating on the mail-in voting as well. So check your different districts to see how the rules and regulations have changed and what you need to do in order to comply with those. So thank you, Greg, for bringing that to our attention as well. Appreciate you once again for the 2. Draft that lanky inbred Baron and his brothers. I concur definitely with that one. Thank you, Veronica, for the 5. I heard RFK is coming for Duncan. Let him come for fucking Duncan. I'll take down Duncan if I can. I can't stand that fucking place. Good God. I don't drink coffee and the food's rubber. So what else? There's no reason. Unless it's got a fucking public restroom, I don't need a Dunkin' Donuts. I mean, a jelly donut every now and again, whatever. What are you going to do? But I can get those anywhere. But Veronica, I appreciate you. I know I'm a bad New England. I'm a bad Bostonian. I hate Dunkin' Donuts. What are you going to do? I hate Dunkies. Veronica, I appreciate you in the comments, though. Thank you so much for being here, as always. Thank you, Independent996, for 21 months of loyalty. Thank you for all you do, Boston Brian. Nope, right back at you, Independent. Thank you for all that you do, not only here, but in other chats as well. I very much appreciate it. Thank you, Masha. There you are. Happy birthday to all you birthday folks. How you doing, Masha? Please give some catnip to the pretty kitty, as always. Appreciate you and the happy birthdays going into the chat. Thank you, Jenny Faye. Again, with the lives lost, the utter disregard for human life is appalling, as we continue to talk about with, all of them: Pete Hegseth, Marco Rubio, Lindsey Graham, Trump himself. And again, thank you so much for the $10 contribution. Very much appreciate you. Masha's back in the house. Humongous thank you to Boston Brian Tologist chat mods too. More than grateful. No. That's why I'm here. That's why I do this type of thing. More than happy to help at any turn with anybody that I possibly can help. Happy to be able to use the platform for good. So thank you, Marsha, for that. Very much appreciated. Thank you, Alien Boy. And again, no, it ain't happening. I'm not digested fully yet. Maybe next time. But Jesus Christ, Alien, you're killing me. You are killing me. Who puts that in the fucking super chat, honestly? God. Maybe next show. We do have to talk about it, though. We do have to talk about it. Thank you, Alien Boy. Thank you, Jim, again, for piling on. You son of a bitch. I appreciate you, Greg. Thank you for the 5. Personally, I don't need to see the disease on Trump's neck after RFK Jr. pulled out early. Oh, come on. Come on. What are you guys doing to me? What are you guys doing to me? This is a back and forth I don't need to see. Oh, thank you guys. I appreciate you, Greg, Alien Boy. Bethany, happy birthday to you. Here's some more money for pick of a rag. You guys are sickos. You guys are all fucking sickos. You sadistic fucks. You sadistic fucks. Happy birthday, Bethany. Why you'd want to see that on your birthday, I don't know, but I do appreciate the contribution. Maybe next show. SM Smastic. Thank you for the donation to you. I do appreciate it. Donating to the cause of Operation Neckrat. You guys are all fucking with me now. Christ, at some point, I won't be able to deny it. But thank you, SMS Tasticus 1272. I do appreciate that. Oh, come on, Jim. Is this the whole rest of the show? Donating not to show is a rush. All right, good. At least we have one complaint going the other way. Appreciate you, Mike. Appreciate you, Greg. Appreciate you, Jonathan. No, it's my pleasure, as I always say. And thank you, Nola, very much for everything that you guys do. That will definitely go right to the old Help 99, which is this, of course. Thank you so much, guys. And let's see if we can get to 100% there. Appreciate you. Actually, you can go right here to the Help 99 website. Website link should be in the chat. Do appreciate you guys. And it's also linked in the bio, linked in the link tree, all of that stuff. So appreciate you. I will see you guys tomorrow for the Thursday show of another episode, another live stream here at the Blunt Politics Podcast. Thank you so much to the chat. Thank you so much to the mods, as always, for keeping it rocking, but a safe place, as always. Thank you to everybody, Crystal, all of you guys. Thank you, Tamara. Thank you to everybody on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Thank you to everybody on Instagram. Thank you to everybody on Patreon. Thank you to everybody on Substack, all of the 9 yards. So thank you, guys. All right, I'm out of here. I will see you tomorrow. Very much appreciated. As always, make sure you hit that like button if you didn't do it on the way in. Make sure you do it on the way out. Subscribe. We're trying to get to 20,000 subscribers. Share the show out if you haven't already done so. Talk to your friends, family, co-workers. Be like, hey, this Boston Brian kid, you should fucking watch him. You should watch him. He's pretty good. I would very much appreciate all that. So, all right, guys, I'm out of here. Thank you, Nola. Thank you to everybody who contributed on Venmo, on YouTube, everywhere. You guys are fantastic. Can't thank you enough. I'm Boston Brian. This is Blunt Politics. Stay loud, stay proud, stay aggressive, right? But keep your head on a swivel. Make sure you stay safe out there. And I'll see you guys later. Appreciate it. Happy birthday again, big guy. Happy birthday again, Beth. Honey, I don't know why I just gave you my own nickname. My apologies. Back at you, Yakov. Appreciate you, my dude. Say hi to the missus. Say hi to the little one for me. Oh, hey. What's up, big guy? What's happening, my brother? What's up, Everett? Good to see you, big guy. What's up, M2M? Appreciate you guys.
Yeah, you're drunk. You're drunk.
Oh, get those lights off! Off! Turn them off. They're too bright. Turn them off.
Call them dumps. Big, massive dumps.
Refer to my hands. If they're small, something else must be small.
Hey, you got a little chubby going there.
Fucking Nazis.
They're just getting acclimated. You know what that means, acclimated? He says, rectum damn near killed him.
My superpower's being honest. I will eat my neighbors.
I'm just dandy. I got a bowl of chocolate pudding in my underpants.
They call them dumps. Big, massive dumps.
Army manned the airport. It ran the ramparts. It took over the airports. It did everything it had to do.
Go fuck yourself.
How do you lie to the FBI and now you're running for president? Seriously, how do you lie to the FBI?
Go fuck yourself.
Where you going? Nowhere. You'll have a group of Venezuelan killers, street gangs, occupying the town with MK-47s. I know that.
Go fuck yourself.
He builds the wall the way he built Trump Towers. He'll be using illegal immigrant labor to do it.
Our army manned the air. It ran the ramparts. It took over the airports. It did everything it had to do.
All right, guys. I'll see you tomorrow, 2 p.m. Hit that notification bell on the way out. Hit that like button. Hit the subscribe button. There's a lot of shit to watch. I'm not gonna lie. You can press it all.
The big, fat, sloppy United States.